Okay, trying to get it published now, and we'll see what happens.
There we are. We're live. We got it.
Where did it start up from?
We're live. Right here.
Okay, so we're starting live now. It seems that, again, Mevo changed their damn software. So in any case, hey, hi everybody, I'm David.
I'm Brenda.
We're from OutsideOurBubble.com, and we're currently merging onto I-10 traffic in Houston. We're finally leaving Houston.
Yay! Whoop, whoop.
After being here since November, and we're finally getting out of the city, out of the congestion, out of all the construction.
Oh my God, the construction.
It is just nuts.
Non-stop construction.
If you go to OutsideOurBubble.com and you click on the camera for live view, you can look out the front windshield right now and see what we're going through. This is
Nuts.
Houston. This is not where we want to be. And we're finally heading to Fredericksburg.
Which is where we do want to be because we love it there.
After a long stay due to my prostate cancer, which I am all done with treatments now.
Yay! Whoop whoop!
So that's exciting. So yeah, we're on the road. I did not plan on going live because this transit going to Fredericksburg when we get out of the city areas usually is not the best for data. So we went back and forth about it, and I quickly and hastily at the end, before we left, threw the camera up so I don't have it on the tripod. I can spin around remotely.
So you're stuck with us.
But we are able to turn the camera manually, which we may do at some point.
Yeah, I'm not getting up in this traffic, though.
We're not going to do that in this traffic, however, so you're stuck looking at us.
2 hands on the wheel, dear.
2 hands on the wheel, yes, especially if my mom's watching. So in any case,
yes, we were here for that big ice storm and snow in Houston, Texas. We lost power for 2 full days and nights.
2.5 days.
Yeah, so we actually fared a lot better than a lot of other people.
Thanks to our wiring and everything we did for the Tesla, and thanks to some quick custom programming from my virtual cool friend Michael.
Memory lane, that's where you had your colonoscopy.
Oh, thanks for that. Thanks for that memory. Anyways,
just saying.
Michael had nothing to do with the colonoscopy. He did have to do with us, with my Tesla and everything, but what I'm getting at is, since we were able to run our generator for power, I was able to supply power, 50 amp power actually, off of our generator and everything to another fifth wheel 2 sites over, where a couple had no power or anything at all, and they were very cold. So we were able to get power to them. We used so much fuel because of the cold and everything. We ended up having to, when the power came back, we ended up disconnecting everything, closing our coach up, and going and getting more fuel. But we were able to help out a fellow neighbor. That's good.
Waffle House. I still got it.
You do. So yeah, and I mentioned Michael because we use the Tesla connectors for the Tesla plugs that we put in, the 50 amp plugs for the Tesla charger, I should say. But then Michael did some quick hocus pocus programming that allowed us to monitor how much amp draw the fifth wheel was taking and how much amp draw we were taking, so I can monitor it to make sure we didn't blow either of the 45 amp breakers, 90 amps total, on the generator.
Yeah.
So we did not pop a single one. We were able to monitor power successfully, power use between both coaches, and all went well.
Yeah. The RV park warned us ahead of time that they were going to shut off water to the whole park Sunday afternoon at 4 p.m. So we were able to, we had our tank full of water, which is an 80-gallon tank. So being that we boondock once in a while out in Quartzsite, that really prepared us for this storm because we understood how to conserve water and everything. So we never ran out of water for ourselves. And I was able to get a case of bottled water for drinking. So that lasted just fine.
No idea why that car just cut over in front of that car. Oh well, not my problem. So yeah, for those of you, thank you very much for all your well wishes and everything. It was a long process from November to now that we were here in Houston, and I will say that my treatment is did go and is going very well from all things we can tell. I used, there's many treatments for prostate cancer, and
we did a lot of research.
Yeah, and I ended up going with SBRT, stereotactic body radiation therapy. Stereotactic body radiation therapy.
Yes.
And it's 5 high-dose radiation treatments over a week and a half. So it's every other day. I think I should take the HOV lane left. Get out of the traffic.
Why not?
Because we're on 54 miles.
MD Anderson is wonderful. We highly recommend them. We will go back there, God forbid, if we ever need to. So, yeah, David did a blog post on this.
Yes.
You know, living full time in a motor coach has its advantages because you can travel to where you want to have treatment done.
There's actually 3 blog posts that we did on this. We actually did 3 blog posts on it. One is living in a motor coach full-time has its advantages, and we talk about, that's where we reveal the prostate cancer and why we're going to Houston. Yes. The second one is my update on our plans for treating my cancer. And then the third one was, hey, we're done. And that was just actually published 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So you can check those out on OutsideOurBubble.com, which is also OutsideOurBubble.com. You'll find other live camera views. There's a live camera view from the front of the coach, and there's a live camera view that you can see right now in the back of the coach. And when we're parked at a place, there's also an outdoor view that you can look at from the side of our coach. But that's only when we're parked, obviously, because when the slide comes in,
we have to remove the camera.
That's where the camera goes.
Yeah.
It goes underneath the slide. So yeah, happy with how things worked out. Met some great people at South Lake RV Resort. Really nice people.
Oh my God, we would definitely stay there again. Jennifer and all of her staff there are just wonderful.
Very clean place.
Very clean place. There's a lot of people that are parked there long term for either working in the area, or a lot of people unfortunately are going to MD Anderson or the other hospitals in the area, so they're here long term. So we all get to know each other. But the unique thing about South Lake RV Resort, and it's actually part of Quality RV Resorts because they have a whole conglomerate of them around the Houston area mostly, is if you're coming here for MD Anderson or for treatment or something, you're not gonna, more than likely, you're not gonna know your end date. You're not gonna know how long you need to book for. So what do you do in that case? A typical RV park, you book for a month, and if you need to extend, you might need to move sites or whatever because they might have somebody going into that site. The unique thing about these resorts is you book for the month, and that's your site for as long as you need it until you tell them that you're checking out, and you give them 5 days notice. So we booked back well, back in September, I think I had booked it for the month of November, arriving November 4th. So we booked it for a month. And what they do is they take a $50 deposit, and that holds your site for however long you need it, and then you get that back when you check out. And it's just wonderful because it takes that pressure off of you of, oh my God, I still have 2 more weeks. Where am I going to go? I need to find another place to park.
Or even if you just have to move another site because somebody else is booked in that site.
Yeah, and if you're undergoing treatment, you may not feel well or whatever, and that just adds to the pressure.
Now understand that that goes for the majority of the RVers out there, because the wives don't drive the motor coaches. Now, if I was going through chemo and I would feel really bad and stuff like that, and they said, oh, you need to move the coach because somebody's coming into your spot, but you can move 2 sites over, I probably won't be feeling very well to want to do that, obviously, and it might be very difficult depending on the chemo. But Brenda would be able to do it. And that's one of the reasons that both of you really should learn how to be able to operate the coach.
Yeah. Yeah, unhook, power and sewer and all that.
And move and be able to drive it.
Be able to close the slides up and be able to drive it and park it and hook it back up.
That's our opinion, at least. I mean,
it makes life easier,
less stressful,
and less stressful for both parties if both parties know how to drive and operate it.
Yeah, and I feel better also knowing if something was to happen to me, I know Brenda would not be totally stuck. Don't get me wrong. If something was to happen and she didn't know how to do any of this, there are services that will help you.
And also RVers help RVers all
help
the
other
time.
RVers too. Yep. So if you're in that situation ever and you have to move your motor coach and your significant other can't do it for one reason or the other, go look for another Class A motor coach owner that's not brand new and ask for some help moving the coach.
Yeah.
I say not brand new because, unfortunately, because of this pandemic thing, there are so many new people. There are so many new RV owners, motor coach owners, and stuff like that. And it's not been the best situation out there. Finding places to stay, safety, etiquette, lots of things. Because these are people that decided on a whim to go on the road and just bought an RV without knowing or researching or really doing anything to prepare for it. Mm-hmm. And we witnessed that even here at South Lake, new people coming in with brand new RVs, taking, not kidding, 45 minutes to park it. I mean, we sat there, you get out your little coffee table and you sit out and you watch.
Yeah.
I mean, we watched from a window, so they didn't see us watching, but it was, it's just what's going on in today's world, and as far as RVing goes. So, and the RVers, the manufacturers, got such a demand for motor coaches right now that they're banging them out the door. I mean, they are producing coaches fast.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because of that, quality is suffering too. We've met several people who have recently purchased coaches, and they're all upset they did because it's this, that. By the way, if your air conditioner, you got an Air Excel air conditioner, and one breaks down, and you need to get it replaced, good luck.
They've been on back order for months.
Yeah, good luck getting an air conditioner.
We thankfully, knock on wood, ours are good right now, but that's the consensus online is some people, they've been on back order since June. Let me just interrupt you really quick. Just so you know, in not too much longer, the Brazos River, they closed I-10 and we are redirected frontage road and then back on. Oh. So I'm guessing they're doing something on that bridge or something.
How far up was that?
I'm not sure. It's not too far. It's not too far. It's coming up shortly, but
See, these are things Brenda doesn't tell me ahead of time because she knows it'll upset me.
Well, actually, one of our viewers, David Dodry, told me that.
Hey, speaking of our viewers, and hey, if you want to help out with something, see if you can find this. I got an error code that came up on my scan gauge, an engine code, which doesn't make any sense. I think it was a fluke code because I'm not having any issues with the motor coach at all, engine-wise. But the code that came up, we have a Cummins a 450 ISL. So a Cummins 450 ISL, and the code that came up was
138 FM7.
Number 138 FM7. And in a quick look, just a very quick look, because we were already on the road at that time, nothing got pulled up. Yeah. So anybody, if anybody wants to try to look into that, if Michael's online, I know he'll be right on that. Any case, yeah, if you can find any information on that, that'd be appreciated. And I think it might have been a fluke code, so I'm not sure it's actually real. Everything on the coach is functioning properly at this point. I have no issues, no errors, no nothing.
Yeah, David Dodry says it's exit 725, and this is 737, this exit.
Thank you, David.
And looking at Google Maps, it's just, you know, you go off and then you go back on, so...
Yeah, but it's all this traffic that has to do that.
Yeah.
So we're going to be going all the way straight through to Fredericksburg without stopping today. Current arrival time is 1:38 p.m. Texas time. We have 208 miles to go. We arrive in 3 hours and 19 minutes. Along is, of course, traffic and everything. And this is I-10, and it's on a Wednesday.
West.
It's congested. We're just getting outside of, we're just left Houston area. We're now starting to get on the outskirts. Of course, a car gets in front of me and then slows down for some reason.
Yeah, David Dodry says, you're welcome. Traffic will probably be stopped. Be prepared. Well, from Houston to Fredericksburg, Texas, it's just a little over 4 hours. We're not in a rush. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That semi just cut right in front of us.
He left us probably about 8 feet. And he couldn't go anywhere after that because there was a car in front of us.
Yeah.
Which I'm keeping a safe driving distance.
He just didn't want to lose momentum.
Yeah, true.
Well, it feels good to be back on the road.
It does.
It'll feel better once we're out of this congestion.
This is exit 734.
Yeah, it's going to be 725. And I see Mac and Augusto, KT on the road.
A lot of familiar names out there. Welcome, guys and gals.
Some new people. Unarmed Director is asking, they're from Wilmington, North Carolina. They're asking to be an admin on this.
No.
We don't do that.
We don't do that. Only 3 people, me, Brenda, and Michael. Don't know.
Keith, Panhandle Trains, James Nichols, Shebna, Jeff Branning. Yeah, he says it's scary watching them try to just park them, the newbies.
Yes.
We had someone with a new Airstream try to park theirs and almost take out a post. with the trailer. Someone helped them park it, or they probably would have.
This guy doesn't realize it's a merge.
Merging lane.
Hang on. Idiots. Ugh. We will say that, you know, I get some messages, you know, that COVID is a scam, there's no such thing, blah, 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 it's a government, blah, blah, blah. I get weird messages. But when this storm hit in Texas, and it was a terrible storm, people lost their lives because of no electricity, froze to death, things like that.
Yeah.
So it was not the best situation at all. But I have to think that.
Oh, love.
Yeah, I got it.
I would just stay back here.
I am.
Because this guy almost crossed the line.
I saw that. I would have to think that for those 3 days or so that there was nobody out. It was so bristly, so cold, and the roads were impassable.
It was eerily quiet.
It was eerily quiet out. I have to think that helped out here in Texas, in my opinion.
With COVID.
With COVID
yeah.
and reducing the COVID spread. Unfortunately, when we went out to pick up groceries or whatever, which we would do curbside pickup and all that, not a lot of people we noticed wearing masks or anything.
Yeah, I have not, neither David nor I have been in a store since we left Rochester area, because with his health and everything, we just can't take the chance of getting sick.
Yeah, if I was to get sick with COVID at all, I could not get treatment.
Or me.
Or Brenda, yeah.
Because we live in such close quarters. If I got sick with COVID or anything, he wouldn't be able to get treatment because we're such close quarters.
I'm just moving over to give us more space.
Yeah, just going through some construction. Surprise. Speed limit 55, love.
Yep, I'm reducing. Hey, work zone 55. What did they call that back there? It was still 65, but the roads were just so tight because it was all construction. But we're going to be in Fredericksburg, Texas for at least a couple weeks. Loki is not with us right now, if anybody is wondering. We dropped him off the other day to
Dogworks
to a Dogworks Academy just to give him. He didn't get the exercise and the reinforcement training and stuff like that he needed while I was going through treatments and stuff like that. So we decided to bring him basically to doggy daycare with Jesse and leave him there for a little while to have some fun. So I couldn't work with him or anything like that, like I would normally do it because of, after all those treatments, it just wasn't the same.
Yeah, and we weren't sure how David would feel, him being tired and all of that after his treatments and stuff. So we wanted Loki to have
some fun. So we'll be picking him up Saturday. The funny thing is it was a 3-hour drive to go bring him out there. Yes, so we took a day trip, 3 hours there, 3 hours back. We hit a Tesla supercharger in between, and sorry, just gotta concentrate a little bit here.
Truck on the road.
Yeah. And the funny thing is now we're moving to Fredericksburg. It feels weird to move without him, but I said to myself, and I said to Brenda, it's not like we're moving without him. We're just getting closer to him.
Yeah, that's true. Travel girl number 1, we will love Fredericksburg. Yes, we've actually been there. We go there at least once a year. For probably the last 10 years, 8 years, something like that.
Yeah, we enjoy the hill country of Texas.
Yes, and I see some braking up here, love. So don't get too close. We're going to be coming up soon to that exit.
Okay.
So just make sure.
We're actually going to be looking for land or a house or something in Fredericksburg.
Yeah, we've been looking for a few years because we love the area so much. We're not going to stop traveling. We just want to have some place possibly in the winter time to spend a few months.
Unfortunately, it's not the best time to buy because the housing market is just so stupid.
It's so crazy expensive right now, yeah.
It doesn't make any sense that it's happening. I can see a housing market crash coming along the lines because the mortgage rates are so low, and a lot of them are variable rate mortgages and stuff to get people in, and the banks are doing strange things again. But the housing market is just 30% higher than what it should be. And I fear buying something because I fear values will drop instead of rise. But I know Fredericksburg is the area around Fredericksburg is becoming a well sought after area.
Careful this merging traffic too.
Yep, I see that. Yeah, so this is all construction we're going through right now.
Fun.
Yeah, not really. Just a reminder, for those of you who don't know, you're traveling in a 2014 Tiffin Allegro bus. The bus is 45 feet long and weighs, as loaded, 42,000 pounds. We know that because we have our coach weighed.
Which is important to do.
Which is important. And we're pulling a Tesla Model X on an Aluma 18-foot trailer behind us. And
really nice tilt trailer.
It's an aluminum tilt trailer built by Aluma, specially built to carry our car. And so with that behind us, we are 70 feet long. And so we're pulling 7,000 pounds of weight. So the car is 5,500 pounds, the trailer is 1,500 pounds. 10,000 pound trailer, because the car is 5,500 pounds by itself.
We have Stephen Kozakos. He says, "Good morning. I have a 1445 LP.
Yay!
I'm about to call and order new canopies for the awnings. The originals have finally stretched too far and have function problems. Any advice getting this done?"
Yeah, best place I recommend is Shade Pro.
Shade Pro.
Shade
Yep.
Pro.
That's where we always go.
I don't know where you live or anything like that, but Shade Pro, if you live in an area where they service, best company ever.
They're in the
awnings.
Phoenix, Arizona area.
They're in Phoenix, they're in Yuma, they're in
California. I think in San Diego area.
I think they might have opened one in Florida, I think. But they will ship. So if you're looking for just material, if you tell them what you have awning-wise and you think you can change out the material on your own, which actually is not really that hard as long as you be careful to lock in the spring loads, because there's a lot of tension on those springs. So basically that results in when it's out and you take the caps off, you have to put a screwdriver in so it doesn't turn back, so the spring doesn't go wing.
How was that?
Wing. And scares the hell out of you. A lot of tension in that sucker. And then you can actually replace the awning fabric itself, the slide topper awning fabric. So contact Shade Pro. Let them know that David and Brenda Bott sent you from outside our bubble, and see if they can help you out.
They know us well. They're good guys.
Steve Holt is the owner.
They're fair guys.
Very fair guys.
And they've got all the measurements and everything, because we've changed out our awning material. Yep. By the way, this is the closure here.
Oh, so it's open again.
So, well, no, it looks like they built this road so they could do all that.
Ah. So this would have been where we would get off and go over there.
Yeah.
But it looks like we don't have to right now.
Yeah, this is like major construction here on the roadway, so it's going to take them a long time. So they actually have this road built.
So again, if you want to see what we're seeing out the front window, outsiderbubble.com, click on live cameras, and there's a front, side, and rear view, but the side view is not currently active, so don't try it because we're on the road and that camera is only available when we're parked. So you got a front camera and a rear camera, outsiderbubble.com. Those cameras are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as long as we have data. Speaking of data, this broadcast is only as good as our 4G data allows us to be. So when we start getting out into areas where we have spotty 4G, the signal may drop off and then come back. So just kind of bear with us until we can pick up a new tower or something. And we do know from experience going to Fredericksburg, we will be in areas that have spotty coverage. Now, we have done everything we possibly could to increase our signal, right down to running 4 jetpacks, 3 WeBoost boosters. 3 WeBoost boosters with 3 antennas up on the roof. So we're doing all that we can in order to keep service.
That beeping that you keep hearing is our sensor that David was a little too close to that truck in front of us, because the truck in front of us kept slowing down for some reason.
So I'm now changed lanes to try to get around him.
Yeah. Katie on the road says, I look more tense than she remembers from previous drives. Probably the crazy Houston traffic.
Yeah, we would. Yeah. If you've never been to Houston, 288 and the interchanges and stuff like that, oh my gosh.
And they're doing construction on them too.
And that's what I mean. It's all construction all the time, it seems.
So your GPS might say, get off at this exit. Well, that exit may not be there because they might be rerouting that exit.
Or they changed it.
Or they changed it. So it makes it a little more stressful to get around because, Google Maps and everything hasn't caught up with all the construction. Steven says, thank you. I'll reach out to Shade Pro.
Yes, tell them we said hello, please.
Here's a good question. Daryl Miller 71 says, did you upgrade to lithium batteries? Do they perform the same in cold weather?
Not yet. I have to, because my batteries, as we learned during this power failure, and I knew last summer, I have to change my batteries. I have AGM batteries, the originals I put in the coach in 2014.
Yeah.
They're pretty much weak at this point. I need new batteries, and yes, I would be putting in lithium batteries.
We just haven't yet.
It's my fault. I should have done it by now. I'm kicking myself, especially during that ice storm.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, I was so mad at myself that I did not change out my batteries.
Because we had to run the generator more often.
They are, yes, a lot more money than AGM batteries. However, they're well worth it. I look at it this way: if I'm going to put that much money into batteries,
looks like they're slowing down up there, love.
And we decide to get a new coach at some point down the road. Lithium batteries are good for 10 years or so. I would literally pull the batteries out of this coach and put them into the new coach, and swap out the new batteries and put them in this coach for whoever gets this one. So I'm not worried about spending the money. The ones I would be looking to buy right now,
slowing down,
is probably Battleborn, but Donald at EEZRV Products is coming out with his own lithium battery line, which myself and Michael have been looking at the specs on and advising him on some of the specs of the battery. Michael is very versed, by the way, when it comes to batteries and stuff like that. He actually runs Tesla batteries in his motor coach. Yeah, not kidding. He put in Tesla battery packs, and so he runs 48 volt two inverters. I think it's 48 volt. Any case, but he runs Tesla battery packs. But I will be putting in lithium packs, and I mentioned Donald because we've been going through a couple different revisions of batteries and testing, and so the recent version of the batteries look like something that is going to be sustainable, or a good battery, and understand China-built battery. I get that, but I may try those just to do some more testing and stuff like that. But right now, if I didn't know Donald, or I haven't been working and helping him develop products for RV industry since 2009 when I met him, then I would be looking at Battleborn batteries. Battleborn is U.S. built batteries, very well constructed, very well tested, high performance lithium batteries. There'd be no doubt that I would buy them. They are costly, but American made, very well built, very well tested. And I say that, and I don't have them, but I've done enough research and I've talked to the company, and there's been enough tests that you can go and look online to see, and that's why I would choose them at this point.
On a different note,
sorry if that was too much. Sorry.
Our Machete says, do any states restrict your length as you travel?
Yeah, most do. Most do. It varies from state to state. I don't even know what it is in Texas. I don't know what it is in most states, actually. I just know that we're 70 feet long, and if we get pulled over for length, then obviously I'm too big. But I don't have a choice. I am what I am at this point.
There are people with bigger.
There are people. We see people triple tow.
Yeah.
I mean, we see people.
Triple tow means like they would have their pickup truck towing their fifth wheel, which is towing a trailer.
Yeah. Michael, I think, is 75 feet long, or
he's got a longer trailer than
75
us.
or 80 feet long. He's got a 24-foot trailer, enclosed trailer.
Walt wants to know, how many solar panels and size do we have?
First off, I do not recommend solar panels at all, except for maybe one to keep the batteries topped off if you're parked somewhere and storing your motor coach.
Well, unless you're going to be doing like a ton of boondocking and things like that.
I was just going to get to that.
Okay.
Unless you're planning on doing a lot of boondocking. The reason is because, and again, Michael would be able to tell you this, because he went crazy on his solar. The reason is because solar's expensive, and you don't get the bang for the buck you need unless you're using it all the time. You will never get the money out of it. So I have 2 solar panels on the top of our coach. They're 180 watts each. On a sunny day, they produce about 18 amps or something like that. If I don't have any covered cells, because you can cover one row of cells with a shadow, and that will basically destroy the efficiency of that entire panel. So yeah, unless you're really going to be doing a lot of boondocking where you don't have access to power and you don't want to run your generator all the time, solar is really not a major big solution to go by. Especially with the way we live in our motor coach, we're always plugged into 50 amp power unless we're boondocking in quartzite, and then we run our generator to recharge our batteries and then run off our batteries.
It's just not worth it for the way we live.
Yeah, cost-wise, to put enough solar in to run just off of solar all the time, kind of thing. It's just, to us, it's not cost objective. That's my thoughts on solar.
Yeah, well,
and that's my humble opinion, as I like to say, and make sure I point out.
Well, it says, yeah, not even enough to run a fridge. And in the ice storm and stuff that we had in Texas, it was all overcast most of the days anyway.
Yeah.
So it wasn't producing hardly anything. And he says, what about a wind generator?
No. You need a really big wind generator to produce enough power to do anything with. I don't know how you're going to carry it, a big enough one to carry it, to put it and strap it down.
Where the trail leads says, we ordered the Dragonfly Battleborn lithium-ion batteries for our new 45 OPP.
Nice.
That always makes me nervous when I see
It's
the
like,
big,
yeah,
the big
yeah.
loader on the edge like that.
yeah.
Sorry, just looking at construction stuff.
It's all construction, guys. As if you're looking at the front cameras, outsiderbubble.com, click on live cameras. There's a live camera in the front. There's also one in the rear. You can see our trailer and our Tesla back there. No, I do not have an enclosed trailer. I have a flatbed trailer because we have no use for an enclosed trailer. Our car, we put the extra money in protecting the car itself by putting PPF, paint protection film, over the entire body of the car, which is basically 10 mil thick rubber, if you will, that protects the entire car surface.
So I just noticed something interesting.
Yeah.
Somebody says, "Where are you heading to?" And I'm thinking, well, it's in the description. So I look over at the description and it says heading to Houston.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm looking at your YouTube studio and it says heading to Fredericksburg, Texas.
See, that's what I told you.
They changed the software.
Mevo screwed up the freaking software again. I mean, I've been using this Mevo equipment and this is built just for streaming. This stuff is made just for streaming. And every time they come up with an update, they screw something up. And so it seems like it's picking up the title from
the previous drive.
From our previous drive.
Well, yeah. So
if you're in that video, do you have it? Since you're an administrator, do you have an edit over there? The blue.
Yes.
Can you edit the title? Go and click on that and edit the title.
Yes.
That's so upsetting.
Which it has in the description, join us live as we head to Fredericksburg, Texas, but the title still had Houston.
You know, and you try to reach out to Mevo customer service, and it's just ridiculous. And this is a U.S.-based company too, which again, it just sickens me when you have U.S.-based companies, buy U.S. yay, and all that, and I'm all for that. But then you can't get customer service.
There, I fixed it.
You try to send a note in about, their new software and this, it's doing this. Well, have you tried rebooting? What a reboot is not going to save you from, this, where it actually said on my screen, I'm selecting my pre-set up because I had scheduled it, live drive to Fredericksburg, and I selected on my Mevo screen, live drive to Fredericksburg, and it pulls up the old screen title for some reason. Oh well.
So Red Jaguar 100 travels.
So we're going to Fredericksburg.
Getting back to the length.
Yes.
He says, we generally don't stop for length unless you're doing something else like speeding.
By the way, Red Jaguar is, if I recall correctly, a state trooper or ex-state trooper.
No, I believe he's retiring soon, but he's not retired yet.
Ah.
And they want to hit the road in their new coach. And his wife just got behind the wheel.
Yay!
So she's learning. And I believe he's in Philadelphia, if I remember correctly.
Do I actually see sprinkles coming from something?
Yes.
Seriously? Oh, man.
What commercial is this from? Sprinkles!
Sprinkles! What commercial? What commercial?
That cracks me up every time.
That's a question.
It's not a movie quote, but...
It's not a movie quote, it's a commercial quote. What commercial is that from? The commercial ends with sprinkles!
Mac's 10-year-old son, Augustin, just came back from a neighbor's and he saw that he was watching and he wants to send us a big hug. 2 hands on the wheel.
Sorry. I did drift because I'm getting a lot of wind that way. By the way, I'm currently averaging, for those curious, 7.2 miles per gallon. Again, we're 70 feet long. The coach is 45 feet long. The coach weighs 42,000 pounds, pulling 7,000 pounds behind us. and we're currently averaging 7.2 miles per gallon.
David Dovery had to step away for a few minutes. Was exit 725 still shut down?
Nope.
Because he's the one that warned us about They actually, they were doing so much construction.
They finished a bypass.
Building more roads. They finished a bypass. So basically, you just merged onto this little thing and then merged back, but no slowed traffic, no stopped traffic. It was great, actually. If you didn't know any better, you'd think you were still on I-10.
Its depth cover is bouncing off a lot.
That's the door, yeah. David Torrance says, welcome back, guys. Have you had any issues storing your trailer when not in use, being 80 feet long?
70 feet long? No.
So far,
no.
the places that we've gone, like
where we just were for one.
Yeah, South Lake RV Resort. Their site was, I think, 90 feet or 85 feet, something like that.
Yep.
So we were able to park our rig, keep the trailer attached,
and park our car in front of us.
And park the car in front of us without any issue. And we'll do that again in Fredericksburg too, because their sites are long. Because we've done that before. When we're in Burleson, Texas, which we'll be heading to after Fredericksburg.
A couple weeks.
So David can check in on the Wi-Fi network there. Technically, we could keep the trailer attached because they're long enough sites. But we usually drop the trailer there and park it next to us because the sites are wide also. So we park it next to us, and so we have our coach all the way back, and then we have our car in front of the coach, and then the trailer next to the car. Southwoods, when we're up there in our seasonal site, they have a storage lot that we park it at. Because unfortunately, we don't have enough room at our lot, but we could have, but we don't want to take any trees down to do that. Yeah, as far as the title, somebody said they saw David said he saw Fredericksburg. Now he sees Houston. So if you refresh your screen, David, see if it goes back to Fredericksburg, because I just changed it. Yeah, where the trail lead says, my bell notice said that, but the title of the live drive was Houston. So yeah, something is messed up in their software. Yeah, David says it's fixed now.
Yeah, again, be aware we're only as good as our data can serve, so we are starting to get to the outside areas of entering hill countryside, and so we could potentially lose signal. So just a heads up on that, and it'll drop off, and then as soon as we get another cell tower, it should pick right back up. We hope. If not, hey, it's been nice knowing with you. Nice traveling with you.
Max says that Augustin just loved David's hug and replied, thanks. Augusta wants to know if you had any side effects during the treatment for your prostate cancer.
Only thing I've had side effects from at this point, I preference that, which I'll explain in a second, is I'm also taking 2 hormone pills, which help to reduce the size of the prostate and also to
weaken the cancer.
Weaken the cancer.
He started those December 20th.
Yep.
And he had to be on them for at least 6 weeks before they hit it with radiation.
And then I have to remain on them. I have to be on them for 6 months total.
Yeah.
And the only thing I've had from that is breast tenderness has developed a little bit, and I've been really trying to work on my weight a lot, and I haven't been losing weight as much as I think I should have at this point. And it's kind of made me a little mad. And I think I've been working on that.
He's been working out. We've been, eating good, not having seconds, things like we normally try to do. But it's,
I haven't lost the weight like I should have. And
Yeah.
I think
it's the hormone
it's
pills.
the hormone pills. But as far as the other side effects, I've had no other side effects as of yet.
Nothing for the radiation yet.
As of yet.
Yeah.
Because that could take a month or so to show up based on the radiation, is basically destroying cells, cancer cells, hopefully. And it can irritate other areas. Now, I used a very specialized machine, which I outlined on our last blog post, and it's actually
It's really cool.
It's a really, really cool machine. It's a combination MRI machine and linear accelerator, Liniac, which does the beam radiation. But you're actually inside of an MRI machine that has a linear accelerator that actually can rotate 360 degrees around you, that's built into the machine. So they can actually look at you, any part of the internal of your body, in my case, the prostate, with live MRI images, select the treatment area on a computer, select the dosages, things like that, and the computer looking at the MRI in 7 dimensions determines the best shots to take.
And in real time.
All in real time.
So you're breathing, and your body is moving as you're breathing, and it tracks all that.
So it tries to, based on the calculations it makes and the images it can see, it tries to avoid other organs and things like that. And they're protons that are firing at you, so they have a burst at a certain area. They are more intense than areas. So when they enter the body, they're at one with strength, but by the time they get to the target area, they're at full strength of radiation. And then as they dissipate, they again reduce. So it's minimal damage to other parts, other organs inside. It's a really, really cool machine.
This guy here, he's going to cut in front of you.
And it's all, as Brenda mentioned, it's all in real time. So if I was to shift by chance, cough, something like that, the MRI machine picks that up and automatically adjusts the firing procedure of the beam. It's just amazing.
On one of the
tech.
blog posts, David has, was it the last one?
The last blog post, I have a link to a page where you can actually click and see a video on the workflow of how the machine works.
Yeah.
And they show it working, and you can see the MRI images and stuff like that, and so it's kind of cool.
We've learned a lot about the prostate.
Yeah, we have.
Your urethra goes through the prostate, and your rectum is resting right against the back of it.
We don't really want to get into the details online like this, love.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not something that is family friendly for the most part.
Yeah.
Talking about those details.
Yeah.
So.
It's in the blog post.
Actually, I didn't even put that in the blog post.
No?
No.
Oh. Well, I thought you had links to different things.
I have links to things, yes.
Okay.
But I didn't come out and give that.
Well, Google it if you're interested.
There's actually only 4 of these machines in the U.S. currently. MD Anderson was the first one to have one, and they installed it in 2015. They started the installation in 2015 with the first live, then trials, and then the first actual live patient, other than the trials, was in January of 2019. Is that correct?
Yes.
71 West.
That looks heavy.
Yeah.
pickup truck with a trailer towing a bunch of hay bales.
Exit 695, 71 west.
Yep.
Whoa, 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 Mr. Semi.
Mr. Semi just went off on the shoulder of the road really quick.
Fast. I was moving over to get to my lane for the exit, and all of a sudden that semi went right to the side of the road, braking hard. Okay, so we're coming up to
our exit,
which heads us to Austin.
Take exit 695 on the right to Texas 71 West.
Got a lot of wind today, unfortunately.
It is nicely overcast, though.
Yes, it's nicely overcast.
So we're taking Texas 71. That'll take us into Austin.
Yuck, which will be another fun time.
There's no go around for Austin when we're going east to west.
Yeah, there's no go around.
Oh, this is nicely newly paved.
Nice and quiet now off of that bad road, that concrete road that was thump, 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 thump.
Yeah.
Continue on Texas 71.
Larry V wants to know, what is the definition of coach? Do you think it applies to fifth wheels too? They're trying to settle a discussion with a friend.
I do not consider a fifth wheel a motor coach. Coach is usually referred to as motor coach. Or motor coaches can be, so the word coach, motor coach, is where that comes from.
Some people say bus also.
Some people say bus also, correct. So again, that's an opinion thing. I personally don't consider a fifth wheel a coach. I have to push in a little button and put that down. That's what that was. I'm not sure we're going to settle your discussion for you and your friend. I've never seen a fifth wheel marketed as a coach that I recall. I see them marketed as an RV, a fifth wheel. I don't even know where the word fifth wheel comes from either.
I think it's because of the
I don't know.
The ball thing in the back of the truck.
What does that have to do with a wheel?
I don't know.
I don't see them marketed as, I see them marketed as RVs. I see them marketed as fifth wheels. I don't ever see them, I have not personally seen, unless I just kind of just blew by it in my mind, marketed as a coach. Oh, this is a nicely new road. And I'm saying that because, of course, because I said it, now in about a mile, we're going to get crap roads.
Now, just a fair warning, seeing that this is like a state road, when we come into towns, there may be stoplights. Some of the small towns, I don't know how they do it, if we just go right through or if there's going to be a stoplight. People are asking, they're talking about the vaccine and asking if you got yours yet.
Unfortunately not.
He qualifies.
I qualify. Unfortunately, I qualify because of my cancer. Unfortunately, MD Anderson only got so many doses, and the
Houston area ran out.
I would have gotten a notice in my chart that I am eligible and I can select a date to come in, but I wasn't fortunate enough to get that. But then again, we probably wouldn't have been in the area for the second dose to begin with. So Brenda and I are just buying our time that we can schedule something that will be somewhere where we'll be able to be 3 weeks, unless we get the new thing that comes out that's only 1 dose. And yes, we will get the vaccine.
Yeah, I probably won't become eligible until the fall.
Yeah. Or late spring, they're saying, or midsummer.
Hopefully.
So we'll probably end up not being able to get them until we get back to Rochester. So we'll be as
Careful as we can.
as we have been.
Yeah.
We take this seriously. A lot of people may not, and that's fine. That's your life. But we take it seriously. I personally, I should say it's fine. I say it's fine. It's your life, and it's true. But it's not fine because if you do have it and you don't know it, and you can be a spreader and not even be aware of it, and crap like that. I'm not going to get into the politics of it, especially after some of the emails I've received where I've mentioned it, like on a live drive like this, and people would, even you could go back and look at some of the comments from past live drives, and people are saying it's a hoax, blah blah blah, and all that.
On a different note, your sister Carol says hi.
Oh, hey sis. It was really cool to have Loki, MD Anderson, welcomed Loki to all of my appointments and everything. He actually became quite the little star there at MD Anderson.
Yes.
Every time I would go in and, hey, is Loki with you? He can't come back to the treatment room. He brought a lot of smiles to a lot of people's faces in the waiting rooms, in the treatment, where you wait for treatment and stuff, where people are waiting, to go in for chemo or whatever. He brought a lot of smiles to people's faces. I would take him around and introduce him to people who would want to say hello, and I would do it from a safe distance because Loki's has been trained to, if I walk up to somebody to greet and they want to greet Loki, of course, if I stop, will sit by my side. I'll be 6 feet or more away from somebody, ask them if they would like to greet Loki or meet Loki, and they would say yes. And I would then detach Loki from his leash, and I would say, Loki, greet. And I would motion to the person I wanted him to go to, and Loki then would walk up to that person to be greeted. And then I would say, Loki, with me, and Loki would come back to me, and I would say, Loki, Foos. And Loki would turn and sit to my left-hand side. And then if somebody else wanted to greet him, I would point to that person and do the same thing, and he would go to the person that I pointed to. It always has to be, because he's a working dog, a service dog, it always has to be on our terms. So, if we give him a command and direct him, it's always on our terms. That way he doesn't just do it on his own, which he's not supposed to do. Because a person might not want to greet him. They might be afraid of a dog. They might not, you don't want that to happen. So you want to, you also have the people, you're walking and they get down there and oh, puppy, puppy, and Loki would ignore them and they would say, oh, he's a working dog. Yeah, he is, because most people are used to squatting down, hey, puppy, and the dog would go running to the person. It's just really unique. And so he was able to bring some smiles to people's faces, which was great. So we're, one of the things Jesse's working with him on is visits, where not only will he greet somebody, but like if they're in a wheelchair or a chair or something, he'll go up, and a visit means go up and put your head in their lap. So that's something that he's being worked on. So then he's going to be certified, hopefully, to be able to go into hospitals for therapy, patient therapy. So he'll still be my service dog, my full service dog, but he'll actually have another talent or training where he'll be able to go into hospitals as a therapy dog. And he's not a small dog. We're not talking about a little white puffy dog. What's the dog called? What's the dog called? You drawing a blank too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, he's a 75-pound German Shepherd mix. He's 36% Siberian Husky and 64% German Shepherd. So he's not a small dog. So you don't want him jumping up in somebody's lap. So
even though he does sit in your lap sometimes.
He will sit in my lap if I ask him to.
Or even if you don't ask him to,
well,
we're just outside. He's not working, but we're outside,
yeah.
and whenever he wants to sit with you,
yeah, he's been trained,
climb right up.
He's been trained to sit in my lap though, for a reason too, because like shuttle carts or something like that, like an MD Anderson, the place is so big. Like in an airport, they have those shuttle, electric vehicles that shuttle people around. They have those at MD Anderson.
Yeah.
And so we had to get on one to go across a good distance. And so we got on one, and the guy looked at Loki and he goes, "Can he go on the luggage rack?" And I looked back there and I said, "No, because the luggage area had holes in it.
It's like a metal grate.
It's like a metal grate, and his nails, they wouldn't be good." I said, "No, not really. But don't worry about it. We got that covered." And I sat down and I said, "Loki, ups." And ups means up and sit. And so he jumps up in the seat next to me and then puts his body across me. And the guy just looked at us and started laughing.
He goes, just holding
and I'm just holding. We got a picture of that. It's online. It's on one of the blog posts. And I'm just sitting there holding Loki, and Loki's just looking around. And we're on this motorized cart, and the guy was just cracking up. And he goes, "Yep, I guess he's trained for that." I said, "Yep."
The one thing that was funny with him though is the escalator.
Oh, the escalator.
He wasn't really trained on the escalator.
No, he wasn't.
So, it's not quite stairs because they're moving. So he wasn't too sure. But one of the things we learned was don't hesitate, just guide him on. And so David had him, and David steps on and guides him on, and he was good. But the funny thing was, he put his 2 front paws on, and his 2 back paws stayed on the firm ground. So it was kind of like the movie Elf, where he just like stretched out as the escalator kept going, and then his back feet just kind of followed along.
It was funny.
Yeah, we took the elevator from then on because that was just, it was funny, but
yeah, we
didn't want to stress him out.
We didn't want to, yeah. So there was, even the elevator was kind of funny because obviously the floor, something's moving.
It's moving, but it's not moving.
Yeah. So going up or down, you'd get a reaction out of him. Like if we were dropping down, he would go like that. He would like, what? It was kind of funny.
He felt it,
but
there was nothing moving, so he wasn't too sure.
It didn't make any sense. It was moving, but yet he feels different.
But he wasn't nervous.
No, he didn't freak out or anything. He was just
curious.
Sad. It's all good, boy.
But yeah, we'll get him Saturday.
You can follow along with Loki, by the way. Loki has an Instagram account. If you use Instagram, it's @LokiBot, @LOKIBOTT, all one word, and that's his Instagram account. So Brenda posts photos usually once a day. It might be one photo, it might be multiple photos. Just Lokiisms, because Brenda talks as Loki.
Yeah.
So, by the way, we're in a vast area right now. So cell phone coverage may or may not be good because I cannot see a tower anywhere in my view, and it's a flatland view. So good news is cell signals travel very long distances over flat terrain.
We're still streaming.
But we're still streaming, which is good.
So people are saying Maltese, Chihuahua, Terrier. Don Sullivan said he's not a purse puppy.
Not a purse puppy. Loki is not a purse puppy. No.
He's more like a suitcase puppy, if that's the analogy.
Yeah, Loki will never go into a baby stroller for one.
No.
He's not. He will not go into a purse. No, he is not. And Loki, the best thing we could say, we chose the name Loki. Understand, people say, oh, the Marvel character Loki. Well, that can be, because Loki is a mischievous character in the Marvel universe. But we actually chose him, the name Loki, from the Viking god of mischief. Loki is the Viking god of mischief. And the reason we named him that is because when we first got him, he would rearrange our clothes. Now, not that we leave our clothes out, mind you, but if we like take off clothes for showers, or we put them on the dresser, the counter in the back, or something like that, or on the bed or something, we would come out and find the clothes moved around the motor coach.
He wouldn't eat them.
He wouldn't eat them.
Chew them, or he would just move them around.
So, I mean, one time Brenda, it was funny, we had done laundry, and Brenda dumped the clothes on the bed and then went to do something else quickly, and by the time she came back, there was not a single piece of clothing left on the bed. They were spewed throughout the motor coach.
Yeah, he jumped out of the bed and he's just like all over.
So that's where Loki came from, being mischievous, not destructive or anything, just a little mischievous.
Well, now it actually works another way.
Now Loki is, we take it another way, and people go, yep, definitely. One person just said to us one time, yeah, he definitely fits his name. And I said, I don't understand, because here he is on the ground, just plopped over, and just, laying there. And as we're talking to these people in the park, and they go, yeah, he's very Loki perfectly.
He's trying to get to Loki?
Get to Loki or get to us.
Yes.
He will get in between us and another dog coming at us.
And so he would bark at that other dog, but that doesn't happen very often.
He protected us from a raccoon.
Yeah.
The raccoon didn't notice. Loki was laying in his bed outside the motor coach, and this raccoon just came strolling up, never saw Loki. And all of a sudden Loki noticed the raccoon, and then Loki, it didn't say a word, and then the raccoon happened to notice Loki, and as soon as he noticed Loki, the raccoon puffs up and starts to hiss, and that of course set Loki off. And,
Loki probably would have just sat there and watched him if he just kept walking.
Yeah, and he poofed up, and Loki, it started hissing at Loki, coming at him, and Loki, of course, he was leashed.
Oh, someone says our signal went out.
I'm showing outage
I'm still
right
getting
now.
it, yeah.
Reload your page. Well, they wouldn't be able to hear us if they...
Oh, yeah, it is buffering. It came back, and now it's buffering. Now it came back.
Yeah, we're in a bad area right now for cell phone service. I happened to mention that just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, they were saying we shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah.
We did kind of dip down in that little valley.
Yeah. I don't have any notice on here that we lost signal. That's
yes, it's Red Jaguar 100 Travel says signal is off and on.
Okay, so it is what it is. For those of you who follow us and stuff, know that.
Wrangler 1720, hello from the Dominican Republic.
Hello.
Sorry if I missed it, but can you tell me the reason for Loki as a service dog?
Oh. In 2006, I had a stroke. Most people don't know that. Well, some of you people do who follow us, but most people would never know it talking to me or looking at me. I had a stroke when I was 40 years old. It was quite severe. Lost the whole right side of my body, and I'm back fine now, as you can see, except, however, since that point, which I've never had before or anything, I have high anxiety issues, depression issues, suicidal thought, depression issues. And so basically I've been diagnosed with PTSD from that trauma. And I have panic attacks. Loki's been trained to, we're talking $8,500 worth of training.
Now, before we got Loki, David had tried over a dozen medications.
Oh yeah, 15 at least.
And nothing worked.
Yeah.
And we've tried so many things, and so we used to have a German Shepherd years ago, but she wasn't a service dog, she was just a dog. And
Brenda.
we had her, and I kind of said, maybe we should try.
No. You did not say, No. She started researching and finding a dog before mentioning it to me.
Well,
So.
And then I said, maybe we should look into getting a dog.
After she already found a dog and it was on its way from Houston being transported by volunteers up to me in New York.
Through a rescue service group, yeah.
So Loki is a rescue dog who was evaluated and deemed to be smart enough and the right temperament to become a service dog for the detection of anxiety or panic attacks before they happen. And therefore, he was matched with me from Houston, Texas, transported by volunteers up to me in Byron, New York. We then bonded for 3 months with him, and then we all traveled down to Dogworks Academy in Tyler, Texas, where he underwent extensive training to be a very well-mannered service dog that can go anywhere, airplanes, whatever, and will alert me to me having an issue. Since then, since all that has occurred, I'm on one medication now, and that's mostly to help me sleep. But I also have now gone rogue. And we've experimented with a non-FDA approved treatment called low-dose ketamine.
Doctor approved.
Doctor administered.
Doctor administered. We're not rogue that much.
We're not experimenting with drugs that we're buying from a guy in the corner. But low-dose ketamine, 8 treatments once a week, one treatment a week for 8 treatments, and then also low-dose naltrexone, both of which have been very good and have worked out very well for me.
We did this while we were in Houston.
But Loki has been the best find, or the best thing that Brenda had done.
Forced upon you.
Forced upon me. Loki has been the best thing by far. If you look at the first blog post on MD Anderson, there's a picture of Loki. I was coming out of I was in the recovery room after going through a fusion biopsy procedure on my prostate, where I had to be knocked out. It's an hour or so procedure. And when I was in recovery, they actually allowed Loki to come back into the recovery center. And Loki took one look at me, knew something was wrong, they had the bed rails up. He's going back and forth, trying to get up on the bed to get to Dad. And so the nurse saw that, dropped the bed rail. Loki first puts his head up through the bars before that, trying to get to me.
It's a slippery floor, too, because there's no carpet.
So she dropped the bed. He just puts his head on my chest and leaves it there. It was just an amazing for MD Anderson to do that. To allow that. He was even in my records. He was in my freaking medical records. Because every time we checked in for an appointment or a procedure, I have to go through COVID screening. And Brenda would too. And they said, I have short-term memory. Oh, part of this is also I have short-term memory issues. I can meet you, and a half hour later, I won't remember your name or maybe even meeting you.
Which is one of the reasons why I was able to go with David, because with COVID, they're not allowing family members or anybody, just the patient in the building. Right. So I actually had to have a doctor's note.
And Loki was part of the doctor's note, and so they actually added Loki in my medical charts.
Yeah.
So when we checked in, the person, even though we never met the person before, would say, "Oh, hi, Loki," because she had read, service dog Loki, And it was in my medical charts at MD Anderson. It was kind of very cool.
Yeah, Wrangler 1720 says, thanks for answering. I have an uncle that has the same condition as you. I know what that is, but he has 2 Dobermans, and they're trained for the same thing. They travel with him all the time. They're a blessing. Augusto wants to know, do you miss your cats? We do. We miss having cats. Yeah. It is what it is.
It is what it is. We do. And Loki's going to be a hard one to. I mean, when we lost
Watch this
Tasha,
back trucks.
I am. I was trying to move over.
Yeah.
Sorry. He was trying to move over to, wanted to get around me. But if I would have let him around me, I would have had a break, and I would have lost my momentum. Saving fuel is the biggest thing. Well, in order to get the best fuel economy, you never ever want to lose your momentum.
Yeah.
Because that's where you burn the most fuel, is trying to get your momentum back.
Red Bear Alaska's checking in. Good morning to you both. Glad to see you're back on the road. Prayers are answered. Loki is a fabulous dog.
Yeah, those of you who have been lucky enough to have already met Loki, I don't know where I was going with that. I guess some of you have been lucky enough to have met Loki already, that follow us. Yeah, Tasha was an all-black German Shepherd that we had, that we also rescued. Great dog. She lived to be 14 and a half, which is very old for a Shepherd.
She wasn't a service dog, though.
Nope, she was not. I didn't need it at that point.
Yeah.
Loki will be a very, very difficult dog for us to lose at some point. The downside of any dog or any large dog is the life expectancy is shorter.
Wasn't sure if that semi was going to come back over.
No, I kind of realized what he was doing because I saw the turnaround up there. So nobody came up and found that code, I guess, the engine code, diagnostic code.
Yeah, not that I saw.
When I first started our motor coach and started to head out today, I had a fault code that came up on my Scan Gauge D device. We have a Cummins 450 ISL engine, and the fault code.
The fault code was
ID number
138FM7.
138FM7. No idea what that code is. If anybody cares to see if they can find it, that'd be cool. Just let us know. If you do, cool. If you don't, I think it was a fluke. I think it was a false fluke code for some reason.
Yeah.
Because I've not had any engine difficulties or anything like that. Unfortunately, now that we're in the hill country and we're going up and down hills and we do have some wind, I'm down now to 6.8 miles to the gallon. I was at 7.2.
And we might get into more patchy cell service.
Oh, there's a tower.
David Doherty says, ketamine must be a huge pain to get from a pharmacy when on the road. They don't normally give out multiple months of that type of drug.
You are correct. The only place to get ketamine is a compounding pharmacist, and the only way to get it is to have a specialized doctor that can order it, and basically it comes in they mix it into a nasal spray, and I take it once a week, 2 shots per nasal, twice a week or once a week, and
to maintain.
I have to make sure I'm sitting down, comfortable, blah blah blah, because it takes about 10 minutes, and then I can feel it, and because the reason it's nasal is not a pill form, but it's a nasal spray, is because the nerve endings inside of your nasal passages are connected directly to the brainstem, and so it has The other way when I was getting the treatments was through an IV, low-dose ketamine treatment. So I was taking 0.9 milligrams into an IV bag that I was then given over about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes of time, which I would be then very loopy during that treatment. Ketamine is normally used, or has been, or was used, still is, as a drug that they use to knock you out for surgery. Mostly now propofol is used for that. Ketamine, though, is a high sedative. That's why he mentioned it's hard to get. So we have here in Texas, our doctor hooked us up with a compounding pharmacist who can make up the treatment. And
they said they could ship it.
Yes. But you're correct. It's hard. It's not. You can't. It's a drug.
You're
it's
not
one of those
going
drugs.
to go to Walgreens.
Yeah, you're not going to go to drugs with a Walgreens prescription for ketamine, just like you're not going to be able to do it for propofol or something like that. But I only take a maintenance now since I had the infusions, the infusions for 8 weeks. Not cheap. But I do believe it has worked. Brenda believes it has worked.
Yeah.
Same thing, the low-dose naltrexone, that's 0.45 milligrams I take once a day. And that is, again, a compounding...
4.5.
4.5 milligrams. You have to build up to that. 4.5 milligrams once a day. That's the maximum dose you can get for this type of treatment. And that is, again, needs to be made by a compounding pharmacist.
Bob Murphy says, do you have lots of dreams on low-dose naltrexone? I love the dreams. There's something in the road up there.
I see it. No, I'm not. I don't find myself dreaming. I shouldn't say any more than I used to. I do have more vivid dreams, however. So yeah. I only had, during my treatments, my low-dose infusion treatments, I had one bad trip that I did not much enjoy. Other than that, the other treatments were fine. It was really cool when I decided I wanted to try listening to music during my treatment, because I would hear everything in the office, even though the door was closed, the phone ringing, stuff like that. And that you're tripping, you're in twilight, and this, it messes with you when you hear people talking in the background and stuff like that. And so I decided to try music, and I played Depeche Mode, who is my favorite group, and that was my best trip ever, or my best treatment ever. I keep saying trip, but it was my best treatment ever. Listening to Depeche Mode, going along for that ride, literally. The low-dose ketamine, for those of you who don't know, shows that it can actually work to rewire connections in your brain.
For depression.
For depression.
Patients, yeah.
And it works on a certain portion of your brain that is affected, and it rewires those neurons or reattaches those neurons.
I believe they've been doing it over in Europe for a while. It's just being studied here, though. It's not FDA approved yet.
Yeah, it's not FDA approved for this, or for this use, but they've been using it overseas for Trexone. Interestingly enough, ketamine is a sedative, obviously a high, powerful sedative. Low-dose naltrexone is actually, or naltrexone, the drug, is actually used to treat opioid addiction and alcoholism. So
at a higher dose.
At a higher dose. So if you're an alcoholic, or you have, or if you're addicted to opioids, this in a high dose, naltrexone is given to you in a high dose because it actually blocks the receptors, so the opioids can't attach to the cells, and therefore give you your high as alcohol would or an opioid would. So you can't get high if you're on this drug.
Yeah, we're talking like that's 50 to 100 milligrams given. You get 4.5.
But none of this has anything to do with RVing or motor coaching. But I hope you don't mind. Hey, it's the stories. We hope that some of these
That's just us.
I see we lost, some people out there. We were up to 80 something people. Now we're at 69. It could be because we lost signal. But we're just talking to talk.
Larry V says, love your story and how Loki helps you. Have you had conversations with military PTSD survivors and their experiences with their service dogs?
I have not. Even though we work with the military on SEGS for Vets program.
That's SEGS.
Yeah, that's SEGS, not sex for vets. SEGS for Vets as in Segway. We've been helping to support that foundation for many, many years. Since 2008, I think we've been doing that. They actually, wounded warriors coming back that are amputees, that are hard to get around on their prosthetics and what have you, they are gifted a Segway and a modified Segway if need be in order for them to get around more easily with their prosthetics. But as far as service dogs go and PTSD, I have not had the pleasure of meeting service dogs and wounded warriors with PTSD.
Joe Hernandez says, I was just thinking about you guys the other day, wondering what happened to the both of you. Here we are.
Here we are. We have not had COVID.
Nope.
Don't plan on getting COVID.
Nope.
Stay away from us. Sorry. I really want to get back to playing music. I hate COVID because it's totally
well, at
killed
first
everything.
It shut down all the music.
Everything, yeah.
Venues and stuff, yeah.
And for those performers that are lucky enough to still perform in some places, like they're still allowing performances in Arizona and stuff, they're not getting the people coming out, like they used to.
Yeah.
Which hurts their income because they don't get tips and stuff. By the way, I don't play for money. I play for fun. Anybody I've ever played with or any event that we've ever sponsored or we've paid bands to come in and play for people out of our own pocket. I would not take, and bands that have asked me if I wanted to play with them, I've never taken a dime. I'm not a professional musician. I do it just for the sheer joy of it and fun. And I have a good time. And it's my happy place when I'm not with Brenda. And my GPS just says, need a break? I'm coming up on driving already for 2 hours, so it is asking me if I need a break.
No. Got 2 hours and 7 minutes left.
Anyways, I missed that. I haven't been able to do that. We did that a few times at Southwoods last year.
But you did the Music in Motion. That was cool.
Yeah, it was my idea. I came up with Music in Motion, where me and two of my friends, Kevin Turner and Dave Marin, got on a large 20-foot flatbed trailer and got towed around by a little utility vehicle, and we had a little Honda generator powering the amplification. And so we had speakers and we were separated, and they basically brought us around through the RV park, and as we went through the RV park, we played live music.
So it was all socially distanced.
All socially distanced. And we would stop every so often, play a few songs, move up to another section, play a few songs, move up to another section, play a few songs, and I named it Music in Motion. So that was fun.
Chris Larson says, I believe that code, the engine code, would be deaf related.
Well, I don't have any deaf issues. My engine is not degraded or anything. So it hasn't given me any other issues at this point. That's good news.
And driving for 2 hours, it would have run the def
0
a few
stored
times already.
codes. Right now I got 0 stored codes. No codes currently found. So maybe it was just a fluke.
Tina Max, so glad you're back. Eminem and the gang. Hey guys, glad to hear the good news regarding your cancer. Whoop whoop.
I'm wearing my shirt in honor of Tasha.
Loki.
Excuse me. Loki. Jeez. Tasha was our other dog. It's German. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's a German Shepherd, ears, his head, and then it reads, ears up, system armed. Which basically in Loki terms means he'll lick you to death.
Yeah.
I actually decided to put that on the front of our coach, on our windshield in the corner, the silhouette of a German Shepherd, and underneath it, it reads, ears up, system armed. And that's because Loki lays in the windshield.
Yeah, he loves laying on the dash and just watching the world go by.
And so people see him, and it's kind of funny. They chuckle to see this big German Shepherd laying in the on the dashboard, and then there's a sign, ears up, system armed. It's got to be the best theft deterrent ever.
Dr. Ward wrote you a note.
Dr. Ward did?
Yeah.
Is he watching us?
No.
Oh.
But he just read your blog post. And he sent you a note. Dr. Ward is
Dr. Ward was my original person that diagnosed me and everything at MD Anderson.
And he was going to be the surgeon.
He was going to be my surgeon. He also did do my specialized fusion biopsy, though.
Yeah.
But anyways, he wrote me.
Yeah. So David wrote Dr. Ward and said, I just wanted to send you a link to our latest blog post where, my treatment's done, we're getting out of Houston, blah, blah, blah. So he wrote, whoopee, congratulations, Mr. Bot. You're an inspiration. Thank you for alerting me to your latest blog and updating me on your care. Fair winds and following seas to you, Loki and Mrs. Bot. National RV. If you ever need our assistance again, you know where we are. Yes, it's Houston. Yes, the traffic and road constructions and industrial atmosphere is what makes it Houston. But we are here for you should you ever need us. Warmest regards and good health. John Ward.
This is the chief, Dr. John Ward III. He is the chief of urology, of robotic surgery at MD Anderson. And that is the chief writing a note like that. That is how great the doctors are at MD Anderson. To take the personal time to write a message like that, obviously reading our blog post, because that's where we reference Houston.
And the construction.
Oh my gosh. That just shows you how amazing MD Anderson is. And by the way, Dr. Ward's wife, I refer to her, her name is Julia Ward. Affectionately, I refer to her as Ketamine Ward, because she's an MD, and when Dr. Ward, when I came in with Prostate Ward, Dr. John Ward, Prostate Ward, when I came in with Loki for the first time and he met Loki, businesses can only ask 2 questions of a service dog. And he's labeled as a service dog and everything. They can ask,
is he a service dog?
Is he a service dog? Not a therapy dog, but a service dog. And what service does he perform? Those are the 2 questions legally able to be asked, by the way. So he asked, he goes, may I ask? And he politely asked, may I ask, what does he do? And we explained it. And so he goes...
He wasn't questioning Loki as a service dog.
He wasn't questioning Loki being there. He was just kind of curious. And so this is when he learned about my anxiety after he looked at my long list of medications.
He saw the long list of medications that David had tried.
Which happens to be listed under allergies for some reason, even though they're not allergies. They just didn't work.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh my gosh, you got a long list of allergies. No, we don't. medication allergies. No, we don't.
So we explained it
So
all.
we explained it all. And so he goes, hey, have you ever considered low-dose ketamine treatments? And Brenda had heard about it. I had not.
I had researched it a couple years ago, but we never really followed through.
So
and
we asked,
looked at
we
it.
said, no, why? And he goes, well, my wife is a functional body medicine doctor, an MD, a functional body, which means
An internal medicine doctor.
internal
also.
medicine doctor, but she doesn't conform just to straight drug regimen. She will try alternative things, probiotics, things like that.
Gut health,
Gut
all
health,
that stuff.
all that. And one of the things that she does do is low-dose ketamine. So
To treat depression.
to treat this. And so Dr. Ward, prostate Ward, introduced me to his wife, ketamine Ward, and that's how all that got started. Again, amazing that he took the time to write like that. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that.
That was awesome.
That just came in. I heard my phone ding, and I didn't have any messages, but then I saw that it said there was a new message in MD Anderson My Chart.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry for rambling.
Paul Strubble is just checking in. Good morning, you guys. Just a quick question. When you were in Houston and I having to endure in a while, how did you make out with the frigid temperatures in Texas? We did good. We when they had the ice storm and everything, and Houston lost power and water and everything, we had our fresh water tank full, and we were able to run our generator for heat and power. And David was actually also able to run an extension over to our neighbor,
A 50 amp extension
a 50 amp extension
that powered their fifth wheel.
that powered their fifth wheel, so they were able to get heat and power also. So we fared a lot better than a lot of other people.
We helped our neighbors.
That's for
We
sure.
did well. We conserved very well. In fact, when we finally were able to use water again, because they had the boil water advisory, which we never had to deal with because all of the water in our coach is RO water and also UV, and also passes through a ultraviolet light filter. So we didn't have to worry about boiling water or anything. So
Ooh,
by the
careful.
time we didn't have to, by the time they lifted the boil water advisory, since we're so good at being able to conserve water, because we've been to courtside a number of times,
Left to Texas 71 East.
we still had 45% of our tank left. So we did good. We let the temperature get down to 65 degrees in the coach, mostly 60 to 65 degrees before we would heat ourselves back up. We did, because we were powering not only our coach but another coach. We did when it was power back in the area, we did close up and pull the coach out and went and got a full tank of fuel, because we were down to just above 3/4 of a tank at that point. So we went and filled up our tank just in case because they were talking about possibility of cutting power again.
Reducing speed up here.
So we wanted to be sure that we were safe in that regard, because on a generator that's in a Class A motor coach, for those of you who don't know, it'll only use so much of your gas tank before it won't run the generator anymore, because you don't want to run your tank dry on the generator and then not be able to move your coach.
Be in either of the two left lanes.
So you only get when your fuel gets down to 1/4 of a tank, just past 1/4 of a tank. That's usually when you can't run your generator anymore.
And obviously, if there's no power around the area, there's no fuel pumps
Yeah, there's
that
no
you
fuel
can
pumps.
use, because they run off of electricity. So you do have to conserve in that way also. It's not unlimited power.
So what are we coming into here, my love?
This is going to be the outer edges of Austin
Oh,
here.
fun.
Yeah.
I say sarcastically. again, if you want a front view of the camera and you're tired of looking at us, outsidebubble.com, click on live cameras, and there's a front view and a rear view that you can look at. The side view is currently offline because it's only good when we're parked, and I can put the camera out underneath the slide out. So again, outsidebubble.com, click on live cams, and you can see a front view and a rear view.
Tina Mac says, ramble all you want. It's interesting. Oh, look, more construction.
Whoopee! I again whoopee sarcastically.
I think Austin got hit really bad with the water crisis also. Of course, now it's like in the, mid 70s, low 80s, so you would never know a week ago we were freezing.
By the way, going back to Loki for a second, just want to shout out that Loki was trained at Dogworks Academy.
Dogworks with an X.
Yeah, DOGWORX, Dogworks Academy in
Taylor, Texas.
In Taylor, Texas.
Tyler, Texas.
Tyler, Texas.
Yes, not Taylor, Tyler.
Trained by Jessie and her team. Put it this way, Jessie, her dog Zora, 2 years ago, because there wasn't anything last year. 2 years ago. COVID, yeah. So 2 years ago, over in Germany, Zora, her dog, took 6th place in the world for obedience and Schutzhound training. Schutzhound is a personal protection dog training, and Zora took 6th place in the world over in Germany for obedience and Schutzhound training, and Schutzhound sport dog. So she's actually considered one of the top trainers. That's why it's costly to get it to teach a dog to do what a specialized service dog can do, and not all dogs can do it. Not all dogs pass.
Not all dogs have the mentality for it, the personality, all that.
If you have Netflix, there's a documentary called Pick of the Litter.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Pick of the Litter. It's sad too. It's sad because some puppies don't make it through the selection process, so you feel really bad for the dog. Nobody dies or anything like that, but you feel bad.
End of the freeway.
So it's called Pick of the Litter. It's on Netflix, and it shows you exactly what service dog training is. In this particular case, they're showing you service dog training for the blind. And so
it's really interesting how they do all that.
Yep, and how a dog has to be able to pass and certain levels and certain things in order to move on to the next point and things like that. So Loki had different things that he had to pass in order to qualify and things like that. But again, just so you know, training at that level comes at a high price. And in Loki's case, it was $8,500. So there's a big difference, and I'm just going to say it. There's a big difference between a service dog and a therapy dog,
or emotional support.
Or
dog.
emotional support, where people.
Where it is, there are dogs that do
that.
That, yes.
Yes, there are. But then there are people that put vests on dogs that say they're emotional support dogs or therapy dogs or whatever, just so they can bring their dog with them somewhere. And these dogs are not trained.
Like, for instance, we've walked into a restaurant with Loki, and Loki is glued to David's side and just, sitting there. And somebody else is in the restaurant already. This happened to us. Somebody else is in the restaurant already with a they bought a vest off of Amazon and they put a service dog vest on this dog. The dog was a tiny little dog in a stroller.
Kidding you not, a stroller.
It was in a stroller, but yet they put a service dog vest on it. As soon as this dog saw Loki, it started going ballistic.
It went nuts.
Loki just was completely ignoring it and was like, what the heck? And the people actually ended up leaving because they were such a disturbance. And the manager came over to us and they appreciated us and said, unfortunately,
this
when
happens
more often when people just have quote unquote service dog vests on their dogs, and restaurant owners and stuff, they can't really do anything about it unless there's an issue like that.
My two favorite stories I have of Loki, I think, are, well, other than the M.D. Anderson story.
That water tower has a smiley face on it.
Other than the M.D. Anderson story, and how well he yeah, you saw me coming.
Are you going to talk about the post office?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were in Arizona and had to go to the post office to pick up packages, and we went in with Loki. Of course, he's got his full vest on. He's pinned to my side like he's supposed to be when we're walking, and so he's foosing really well. And foosing is heel, by the way, in German. Loki's taught all in German words. So we walk in, and there's a lady in there with two labs, big black labs, and they had service vests on, therapy dog. Well, we walk in, and these dogs started going nuts. I mean, the lady dropped her packages to try to hold the dogs back.
Yeah.
So both dogs were trying to get at Loki, who again was glued to my side.
And he's looking
and
at
just
these
looking
dogs
at the dog
like,
going,
what the heck?
What are you doing? And so I stopped Loki, watching these dogs intently, because if those dogs broke loose, Loki's next move is to get between me and those dogs. And Loki knows that. So he's sitting there watching intently, not barking, not doing anything else. The postmaster comes out from behind in the back room, comes out and goes up to the lady.
She heard the commotion way back there.
She heard the commotion, comes up and asks the lady, she goes, I'm sorry, but we need to ask you to leave. We'll bring your packages out to you. You need to leave with the dogs. And the lady was like, they're therapy dogs. And she goes, the postmaster actually spoke up and said, I'm sorry, those are not therapy dogs. Not when they're behaving like that. And we can't have them in here. Right now, those dogs are a hazard. And so the lady huffed out, walking right by Loki, who was again sitting there. And when the postmaster,
not sure what's in the shoulder up here.
The postmaster then has to walk by us to go back inside the back room, and she comes back. She looks down at Loki, looks at us, and she goes, "He's more than welcome to stay." So I thought that was
the difference right there.
That's the difference. And the other story I like is we were walking through a campground one day, and we're just out for our walk, our stroll, Brenda and I and Loki. And Loki's walking next to me, and this guy comes walking out from his campsite, a little tipsy.
Oh yeah.
And he comes walking up and standing in the road, and we're walking up, and he goes, "That's a nice looking dog you got there." And I said, "Thank you very much, thank you." And we're he goes, "Yeah, what is that a German Shepherd?" And I'm like, "Hey, he's part German Shepherd, part Husky." "Oh, yeah, he looks a really nice dog." And he goes, looks at Loki, and he goes, points at him, he goes, "Sit." Loki's just looks at the guy and looks up at me, and
he's like,
and the guy goes, again, he points at Loki and he goes, "Sit." Again, nothing, no reaction. So the guy actually says, he turns to me and goes, "Well, he might be good looking, but he sure isn't smart, is he?" And so I look down at Loki and I go, "Loki, zits." Boom, his butt hits the ground. I go, "Loki, plots." Boom, he lays right down. And the guy just looks stunned. And I look back at the guy, I said, That's because he speaks German. How many languages do you speak? Maybe I was a little rude, but I was a little perturbed that A, he was trying to control my dog.
Yeah, you don't do that.
And then he was rude to say something like that. Now understand, the dog doesn't know German from English to Sweden, doesn't know anything about any language whatsoever. You can teach the dog hippopotamus if you want him to sit. As long as you keep saying hippopotamus, he'll sit, because that's the command, that's the sound basically he learned for the word sit, for the action sit. We just happen to use German because most people don't have dogs. They always use sit, stay, lay, whatever, down. But we taught him in Sitz, Platz, Fuß.
Don't give away our
Gleppen,
secrets.
things like that. Give away our secrets, yeah. Because we don't want somebody we want him to listen to us. So if he's out playing and I say, come and see, Loki hears come and see, which means come to me. And not just, come. So somebody else can't call the Loki and say, come.
Come here, doggy, come here.
He doesn't respond to come. He responds to come and see. So those are my two interesting stories about Loki that I kind of enjoy.
Yeah. You meet all kinds.
You do. You meet all kinds of people at an RV park. We had one lady when we just left the park that we were at, neighbor few sites over, up and over. She just loved watching us work with Loki, because I work with Loki almost every day, walking him. And when I walk him, I work with training, because you got to keep him up. You don't just let it, you don't just let it drop.
This is the big thing, is when you have a dog trained, like even basic obedience, you get him back, and you're like, okay, good, he knows it all. You've got to keep that up. You can't just be, a few months down the road commanding him. He might lose it. And
he'll become lax.
Yeah.
He'll become a dog. I mean, he'll just, So you work him. You have to work him. And if he doesn't do it right, you say no, and then give him the command again. And if he does it correctly, you praise him. Never raise your voice. Never strike the dog. You don't. It's all positive reinforcement. You use the word no, or nein, and because that's your enforcement word that he's not doing something correctly. So if you say come and see, and he doesn't do it, you say no. That gets his attention, because now he's like, what? So you say, Loki, no. What? Come and see. Oh, okay. And then he comes to you.
That little farmer stand there had a big giant squirrel statue, like as big as the building, and they had a mask on it.
So we're 94 miles to our destination, 1 hour and 43 minutes. Current arrival time is about 1:45 p.m. Central Time, which is where we are in Texas area, obviously. Well, not obviously. By the way, if you do go to OutsiderBubble.com live cam, if it's working, I haven't even checked actually if the tracker's working. There's if it's working, and it should be, I forgot to check. There is a live GPS tracker at the bottom of the page showing you exactly where we are. And if you click on the little image of our motor coach, you'll get telemetry information. Our direction of travel, our speed, our altitude, our battery power. That is all in. If you click on the little motor coach, you'll get that little telemetry box that shows up.
So, John Galt, the character,
You're thinking.
Atlas movie or something. John Galt. Anyway, John Galt says, so glad you're well done and back on the road. Safe and healthy travels. And to you as well, Brenda. It's no light or easier journey for a spouse. Glad to see you live and back on the road.
You are correct in that. Brenda, anybody with cancer who has a spouse or loved one going through cancer, they go through that with you to some degree, to mentally for the most part, and they have their moments too. I mean, Brenda had to be strong at a lot of times, and she's because of even, it's one thing to be diagnosed with cancer and have to go through it. Now understand, prostate cancer is treatable if you catch it long. It's the most treatable, one of the most treatable cancers if you catch it early enough. If you don't, you can be in for trouble.
But it's still cancer.
But it's still cancer, so it still weighs on your mind. Interesting fact for those out there. Interesting fact.
Dr. Ward told us this.
Most men will die with prostate cancer than from prostate cancer. Meaning that when you die, you'll die of other causes, but you are likely to have prostate cancer at the time of your death, in some form or another. But you're unlikely to have died from it. You die from it when you don't catch it early enough and it gets outside the prostate. Once it gets outside the prostate, it gets into your lymph nodes first, and then it immediately goes to the bone, and then you have much more of an issue. And then you can die from prostate cancer. But in any case, if you're over 50 years old, the easiest test is what they call a PSA test. It's a blood test. PSA, prostate specific antigen test. So if you're getting physicals or you're getting blood work done and you're over 50, please make sure that your doctor requests the PSA. And if the PSA is over 4, please get a biopsy, because that's how it was caught for me.
Yeah, he had no symptoms, nothing. It was just his yearly physical blood work.
So that's my PSA to get your PSA.
Do a PSA for a PSA.
That's right. I got to write Dr. Ward back and say, you're the best.
Yeah. Well, not only, I mean, all the doctors there are personable like that, and they're just, all the way down to the person asking the COVID question, the COVID screening when you first get there, who sees 1 million patients a day, and they have to ask the same questions a million times.
Over and over.
Everybody there has a smile on their face and is just happy to be there.
A smile that you can see through their mask.
Yes. Not that they have see-through masks, but you know what we mean.
You could just tell.
But yeah, we have not, even the person in the parking garage taking the tickets was just happy to be there and smiling and just, no disgruntled employees at all. Some places you might have a grumpy person or something, but we never ran into that. John Bloxham says the code 138 FM7.
1.75 miles. Take the exit on the left.
Is that correct?
To Texas
Yes.
71, Toll West.
Yes, it is. 138 is auxiliary absolute pressure reading for what, who knows. FM7 is mechanical system not responding. Whatever it is referencing may be a bad sensor. You need to move over,
Yeah,
It's on the left. Right now the signal light is green.
thank you.
Super green.
Super green. What's that from?
And it's a movie quote.
That's a movie quote. Super green.
Oh, so the one that nobody did when we were talking sprinkles, because it was raining a little bit, and we're like, oh, is there sprinkles on the windshield?
Sprinkles.
And I said, sprinkles.
Boom,
That was
shakalaka.
from the that was from the commercial, the Geico commercial.
Yep, nobody got that one.
I don't know why, but some of the Geico commercials are really stupid, but that one just makes me laugh every time.
Boom, chakalaka-laka. There's Austin in the distance. Yeah. Which we have to go through.
I'm just, well, yeah, kind of, sort of, but yeah. There's no go around of Austin.
Oh, so yeah,
Keep
Brenda,
left to Texas 71
even though I'm the
west.
one with the cancer, your spouse or significant other or family members, they go through it with you too. And sometimes they have to be stronger than you know, especially when you're dealing with somebody like me that already has depression, diagnosed severe depression and high anxiety stuff.
Having a cancer diagnosis doesn't help
Any of that. I didn't cry, get upset, or anything like that. She did. I didn't. I look at it as, oh well. I actually said to Brenda, I said,
Damn
so,
it, now I gotta do this. Something else to add to my plate.
yeah. Actually, we looked at each other and we were like, we actually thought it was going to be Brenda. To get cancer at some
Yeah.
point, not me.
Just because of my family history, it's a bad family history of multiple different cancers. So we've always been prepared for something like that. Especially when, it's not like it was caught because he was having symptoms or something happened. It was yearly physical. Which, is important to do.
Yep.
Or else we never would have known any of this.
Oh my God, and you don't ever want to go through any of this unless you have insurance.
Oh, yes. Yes, we have Florida Blue because we're Florida residents. We have Florida Blue, Blue Cross Blue Shield. We've never had any issues finding Blue Cross Blue Shield doctors or anything across the country. We were able to keep our doctors in New York because they're part of the Blue Cross Blue Shield network. So we have our same doctors in New York when we lived there. And we have a high deductible plan. So what happens basically is you pay up a certain amount and then everything else is 100% covered. That was our plan. So at the end of the year when I was looking at the different plans, I actually chose a different plan that saved us money because it was higher out of pocket monthly for our monthly fee, but it was a lower deductible. And if you added all of that up
left to
over the
Texas
year, which we
71
knew we would
west.
max out the deductible, then it was actually cheaper than the one that we were on.
We maxed out the deductible on my first procedure.
Yeah, in January, in mid-January, he was already maxed out. So we're seeing these bills come in where right now where there's like nothing that we owe, but we're seeing the charges and we're like, oh my God, I cannot imagine the people that don't have insurance. This would just totally ruin them.
I got new DTC detected.
Okay, I'm gonna put the computer down for right now because we're in a lot of traffic.
I got error code this time 177 FM7. So the error code this time I just got a new reading
177
177
Either of the two left lanes.
FM7.
FM7, and it occurred so far 26 times. So it's like a repeating one.
177. There's a car next to you over here. Your blind spot.
So yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I just got my engine is still not degraded or anything bad like that. I'm not losing power. I don't have a check engine light that I'm aware of.
More construction.
More construction, of course.
Traffic.
As
We're in
the-
Austin.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Cummins 450 ISL engine, ID 177, FM7. And right now it tells me I got 26 readings of that.
Okay.
The count, how many times it showed up. That's new. That's not have any engine lights on or check engine lights on or anything like that. You're smelling that truck.
Hey, it's burning oil or something.
Did you write that down, love?
Yes.
Thank you.
Of course, I'm looking at my Cummins Quick Serve app that you can put in fault codes based on your engine, and it says not applicable for this engine. You know, I'm not impressed with that app. And then the stupid thing is I gotta restart my phone just to get out of that app because there's no way to get out of the app.
So if anybody wants to play that game and try to look up that code, that'd be cool.
Like 177. Fuel pressure exceeds rail relief valve pressure opening. If I just Google it.
I think I've had a sensor replaced, that sensor replaced once before.
Is that the one that's the John Deere green on our engine, on our red engine? Was that the-
My Mevo's overheating. We're going to lose you guys. The Mevo's overheating because it's we don't have a fan on it.
Do you want me to get a fan?
The sun is on the camera, and it's going to overheat. So it's going to shut down on us here, guys. Of course, we're going through the freaking city right now, and it makes it harder to deal with.
Yeah.
I just got a notice on my screen that it's going to shut down unless it cools off, but I don't think it's going to cool off. So, just in case we end up losing you, sorry.
I don't really want to get up in this traffic. These guys are merging on with us.
I see.
In 2.25 miles, keep left to US 290 West.
Augusto says 177 code definition fuel composition sensor circuit range performance. Somebody says my mic is off, but my mic is on. Huh.
Yeah, we're starting running all kinds of problems then. The message went away, so it must have cooled off, or we shut down and don't know it. Oh, message came back again. Friend, are you able to get that or not?
Do you want me to get the fan?
If you can.
Okay, everyone.
Johnson City.
Use any of the 3 left lanes.
Okay, so we're going to try to cool it off now with a small fan that we carry. Tilt it up some.
Continue on US 290.
Good.
Yep. So we're going to try to cool it. We're going to try to cool it off and hopefully not have it crash out on us. I got to merge right. I know that.
What do you need to do?
I got to merge. I believe this lane ends.
Yes, it ends right here.
So right now we got a fan on the camera trying to cool it down because it is in the sunlight now and again.
Yeah, the clouds kind of broke up, so the sun's coming out.
So it looks like I got a fuel sensor issue or something like that going on. I hope it's something I can replace and not have to go to call a Cummings place to do. Because we'll be in Fredericksburg. There's no Cummings places out in Fredericksburg.
No, the closest one would be San Antonio or Austin.
Yep. It's not bad enough to give me a check engine light or anything like that. I wouldn't even know it occurred unless I had this scan gauge D unit on my dashboard. Looks like we've been able to cool off the camera, which is good news.
Augusto says 177 is a generic OBD2 code indicating that the diesel fuel sensor has detected water in the fuel filter or the fuel composition sensor is out of its specification range. I don't know if that helps.
Well, yeah, it kind of does. Because at least I can then check when we get to Fredericksburg. I can the water separation filter. There's a filter that separates water from diesel fuel. I can drain that just in case and see. And that would just suck because we were nervous about getting fuel where we did, that place that we did.
Watch this guy. Wow, he almost took out our corner. He did not even look. He just came right over, almost took out our corner.
Wow. Now we got stopped traffic, unfortunately.
Yeah. Look at you using your horn.
Yeah, I usually don't do that, but that required it.
Yeah.
I love our new Aluma trailer. The brakes on it are awesome. Because that's 7,000 pounds back there with the trailer and the car on it. So that's a lot of weight to stop that's in motion, and that, so our braking system. Oh, I see. We're in a town. That's why.
Yep.
That's where the traffic.
Stoplights up here.
Yeah, that white truck in front of us, for those looking at the front cam, he came probably within 2 feet of the front of our coach.
Yeah, I felt like
The
I could have
corner.
reached out and touched him.
Yeah, the corner of our coach when he came over. I had to throw my brakes on.
David Torrance, how long is your trailer? It's 18 feet
Plus the tongue.
plus the tongue. Yes.
So we're a total, with our coach, which is 45 feet, we're 70 feet long. By the way, we're all the way down to 6.6 miles to the gallon because we ended up, as our direction changed and the wind changed, we ended up picking up a headwind. So I went from 7.2 to 6.6 on average since we started the trip. That's an average.
This light's turning red up here.
Thank you.
I'm putting the computer down because it's just a lot of traffic and
While
stoplights.
we're here, will you run back and grab some water?
Yes.
Oh. Just grabbing some water back there. Moving.
Okay. Right here.
Look at this intersection here.
This
See
is
those
nuts.
cars?
Yeah.
They come from the other side of the road.
I cracked your seal so that's open.
They come from over there. They have to go over there
I see
to
that.
turn that way.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it's a crazy intersection. Yeah, we took on. So when we after the storm, we had to go get fuel. Well, it's been so it would never get that cold down in Texas, and I was worried about condensation in the tanks and water.
I think that could have happened anywhere we went, though.
That's true, but I was nervous. I actually asked the guy. I said, "So, have you guys been have the people getting fuel yet, or has this been sitting for a while, or whatever?" He goes, I said, "I'm kind of wondering, if you're taking on condensation or your tanks." And he goes, "Well, our tanks are new. They're only 2 years old, so they're really well insulated and everything, and we've never, obviously in the last 2 years they had them. They have never had water or anything, but now I'm questioning if I maybe took on some bad diesel fuel." The good news is,
Wouldn't we have had an issue before that, though?
no, it would take time to. The water separator, the fuel water separator separates water from fuel by weight, because diesel fuels, water and diesel fuel are different weights, and it spins it out. And so that's why we're not having engine issues. But if you have too much water, it can get by it, and then that's going to screw you up.
Yeah. See, this at some point I would have thought Austin would have done this before. I would have thought they would have continued the highway around Austin instead of all of this, because this is the only way to go, this route. there's no go around of Austin or anything because the highway just kind of stops, and here we are now with signal lights and traffic, and then it'll open up again when we're on the other side, which we're getting to be a little bit.
Hey babe, what side are we coming through for Fredericksburg? Are we going to be coming?
We got to go through town.
We got to go through town.
Yes.
So when we get to Fredericksburg in 71 miles or thereabouts, you'll be able to see the town of Fredericksburg, which is a really nice town.
Yeah, and I forgot who it was because I got the computer shut, but it might have been KT on the road or somebody. They said, Loki will love Fredericksburg. They speak his language. Like, yeah. We were there last year with Loki. The place that we stay at, the vineyards of Fredericksburg.
Even though there's no vineyards anywhere around.
Yeah. But they've got nice long sites and everything, and we fit. But they've got a nice big grassy area in the middle of the park, and they've got a big dog park run. And
you're not supposed to be off leash, but in the big field area, you're not supposed to be off leash.
I think they kind of look the other way unless there's an issue.
Yeah. We let Loki off leash, and Loki, he's got to get his zoomies out.
We play soccer with him with his ball and stuff. He loves it.
Can't do that when you're on a leash.
Okay.
And their park is not big enough.
Here's a pet peeve of mine, of both of ours.
Okay.
When an RV park says, we have a dog run or a dog park. Here at the Vineyards, yes, it's a nice big area dog park. We were traveling through, last year, from Arizona to Texas, and we had to stop for a night at an RV park. Just stayed at a K away because it's right off the highway, and I'm like, oh, it says it has 2 dog parks. That's great. We get there, these dog parks, quote unquote parks, are no bigger than a kennel. So yeah, if I had a Chihuahua or a little purse dog, it would be a dog park for them. But for Loki, it's like putting him in a kennel.
Like
he walked
6 foot wide, and
he walked like 4 feet, and he had to turn around and walk back. So nowhere to get zoomies out or anything like that. So that's my pet peeve when dog parks say they have, or when RV parks say they have a dog park and it's like so tiny.
It's like my pet peeve when an RV park says they have good Wi-Fi, they have high-speed internet.
Yeah. Ooh, something in the road. Cushion from a couch. It's kind of on the yellow line though, so everybody's kind of able to go around it.
Well, we're 68 miles to our destination at this point, hour and 14 minutes, as long as traffic holds. We're arriving still at 1:45 p.m., so none of that has changed.
Yep. Okay, picking up the computer again. Somebody said that my mic kept cutting in and out and stuff, so I kind of moved it to the other side. My hip here, see if maybe that makes a difference.
And sometimes the computer for some reason interferes with that.
Yeah, that's why I kind of got the mic pack here so it can see the receiver, and I got the computer over here now. Michael Kidd is online.
Oh, I took you long enough.
Yeah, somebody who's on vacation doesn't check in with us. What the heck?
I know, and we talked about him how many times?
It's not like he's working or anything right now.
I mean, man, we brought his name up, I think, at least 4 or 5 times. And he could have looked up the error codes. Michael, I have error codes on my engine showing up. Nothing on the dashboard.
Missed all the excitement.
You missed all the excitement, but my scan gauge D told me there was codes. And
nothing on our dash or anything.
One of them is seems to be water in my fuel indicator or something like that, or a faulty sensor. I don't know. It could be either. It can go either way. You just don't know. So now I've never had to take water out of the water separator before, so I'll have to see how to do that. I think it's just something at the bottom of it. You drain it and let some diesel fuel come out.
Eminem and the gang says, much better sound, Brenda. Okay, well, that's good.
Break. Yeah, Michael, if you're still there, the last code was a one.
Oh, you want both codes?
Well, I got two codes. I got one when I first started out within the first mile, and that seems to be gone.
That was 138 FM7.
138 FM7, and that seems to be gone. And then we just recently got a
177 FM7.
That one occurred like 23 times, the count number at least.
Yeah, Michael says, ha ha ha, I was online multiple times, heard the LiPo discussion, trailer length discussions, LOL.
Okay, he just didn't chime in. I get it.
Oh, he said he had a disrupted sleep night. My Hughes Autoformer crapped itself
Ah!
at 3:30 in the morning.
Did it smoke? We've burnt up two of them. Literally smoked them.
Yeah.
Fire smoked them.
Thankfully, we were home both times.
And that's why now I have a halon extinguisher in that bay.
Yeah.
Clean halon, not the old stuff. Clean halon.
Bob Rusco says, my Phaeton has a sensor on the bottom of the fuel filter. It also has a manual drain on it, so you might want to check that. Michael says, yeah, off-gassed, could smell it in the bedroom.
Ah.
But that was a fun smell.
Just so you know, the two times it happened to me on my original unit, they replaced the unit for me. The last time, however, I had to send it to them, and then they fixed it and sent it back. If I recall correctly, you got a new unit, however, not too old.
The light up here is green right now. Super green. I don't know if anybody got that movie quote. That was from The Fifth Element. Super green.
La 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 la. Sorry, can't turn the camera around because I didn't expect to go live. We really didn't expect to do this, but we decided to at the last minute, and so I didn't hook up my movable tripod.
Michael says, yeah, this one is brand new, November 2020. I'm sure they'll swap it. Red light up here.
Not only would I want them to swap it, I'd be asking them, you want to know why it occurred.
Yeah, especially since it was just November. I mean, it's 4 months old.
I mean, like I mentioned, my older unit, the original unit, twice I have smoked them. And those aren't easy to rip out of the bay.
Yeah.
They're heavy as sin.
Yeah. You know, I would hate to travel this road every day with all these semis and everything, because this is, you know, State Highway 290. What is that red light I'm seeing up there?
Don't know. Unless
Oh,
it's
I
telling
think
us
that's
it's a red light
telling you
around the
there's
corner.
a red light around the corner. Yep.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, smart. Now it's green. But everybody stopped. Michael said, FYI, this is the one from refurb stock they sent me to replace my other brand new one. They had a wiring issue on the relays, caused boost to be on all the time. I would be questioning the
I'm
reverb
starting.
stock.
Yeah, starting to question Hughes to begin with at this point now.
Mark says, anyone run diesel clean in their Cummins?
I've never put an additive in our tank at all, ever, in either coach. We've been doing this since 2008. I've never used any diesel additives. Not that they're a bad thing, I guess. I just never have.
Red Jaguar 100 travels. Off topic, but do you recommend the Mevo camera for live streaming? I would like to do more live streams from my channel.
I have always recommended the Mevo camera. Lately, though, I'm getting mad at them because whenever they come up with software changes,
It messes
something else up. But it's a very easy camera to use for live streaming because it literally is built for live streaming. That's its main purpose, is to live stream. They have a new one that they just came out with. I have the Mevo Plus with the Mevo Boost battery pack. Very expensive. They now have a small. They have another camera now.
Signal light's green right now.
That's like the size of a deck of cards. That has a long battery life. That can do the same thing more or less that the Plus can do, except I'm not sure you can do external audio sources. I have USB microphones, USB mics plugged in right now.
But your battery on this one is
My battery is
kind of died.
Yeah, I've had it for a while, so the rechargeable battery in it doesn't hold up as well. I'm running it off of USB power right now. But the Mevo camera they're not cheap, but they're built for streaming, and they do some really cool things. We don't have it in the mode, but it can actually self-direct. Like, it can detect if you have more than one person. It can detect who's talking, and they automatically cut to that person or zoom in on that person and zoom out, or if you have somebody who wants to direct, they can hold the tablet or a phone and actually change the zoom, because it's a 4K. It has a 4K sensor in it, and you're usually only broadcasting, like this broadcast is 720p, so I'm not using all the 4K resolution, so that therefore it can use the other resolution to do things like zoom in, zoom out, cut to a close-up, stuff like that. So that's what the camera is really made for. But man, when they mess with the software and it gives me issues going online like it did this morning, and I was not very happy.
Joseph Armelin says, so good to see you back on the road and in business. Why don't you guys just go ahead and make Texas your permanent home base? You know you love it here.
Well, we actually
one of the problems with that is health insurance. Texas doesn't have
nationwide health plan.
Traditional health insurance like a PPO plan. Only Florida does right now. If basically we're self-employed, we don't qualify for ACA or anything, so we have to buy our own health insurance. And there's different insurances out there that are indemnity insurance, indemnity coverage, which is very limiting. It's through church groups and stuff,
or RV organizations. Which people don't realize how limiting those things are.
Yeah, you may only be covered for so much, and then you're on the hook for the rest, and things like that. We need traditional health insurance. So right now, Florida is the only one that has a nationwide coverage, which is a PPO plan through Blue Cross Blue Shield. Texas and South Dakota is another popular domicile state. They only have statewide insurance. They don't. So once you cross over the border into another state, you may only be covered for emergencies only.
As far as what you said, however, one of the reasons we go to Fredericksburg is we always we're looking for a house and or land to buy in Fredericksburg.
Yeah, we've been going to Fredericksburg at least once a year for probably the last 10 years or so. And well, longer than that, because we've been in this coach 7 years, and
Jeez.
we've gone there
Doesn't
in our
feel
other.
like it.
I know, but we went there in our previous coach too. So at least 10 years, and we've been looking for houses and property for the last few years at least.
Unfortunately, the housing market right now is super stupid, price-wise.
That's all around the country. Yeah.
But we're still going to look, because if we can find land to build on, I've never built a house. I don't know if that's going to be good for me or bad for me. Ideally, I'd like to buy like 10 acres of land and build a house, but before the house starts to get built, have them put an RV pad in, an electric, have them put the septic system in or whatever, unless there's sewer there. Get an electric, get a pad put in with a pedestal, and
Be on site.
For the entire build. Because we want to have an RV area. If we buy land that we can build on, we want to have a place to have a pad or 2 pads where we can one for our motor coach, which would then be in an enclosed garage to store it in. But we also would like to have another RV pad so our RV friends, hey Michael, can, they'll come out, and if they're out this way, they can stop in and visit us for a few days, not months, at a time. A few weeks, maybe, something like that. But nothing, where you feel like you're a burden and we get bored of each other and whatever.
We'll get out of this stoplight, stop and go area in a little bit.
Is this new road to us?
Yes, it is.
Woo!
New road. Good
I was
one,
gonna say,
baby.
we've never been out here before, I don't think, coming this direction.
No, we've been through Austin, but on the north side.
We say new road because we usually travel the same roads as we go across country and stuff. And whenever we get to go somewhere new, on a new road like this, it's kind of a big deal. Brenda gets to get out her highlighter.
Yeah. Got my old-fashioned road atlas map, which is always good to have. This one I actually bought through FMCA. It's a few years old, but I like to highlight all the roads that we've been on. And I also mark notes on there, like if we've stopped at a Walmart at a particular exit, I like to mark it on the map of whether it's a good one or a bad one. There's a motorcycle next to you, by the way.
Thank you.
But also, you never want to rely on one source for your GPS. We've got our big rig GPS over there, which is the Garmin 880,
the new
which
one.
we like. Yeah, this one is much improved from the other one. I also have my phone here with Google Maps running.
Oh, is it 880 or 890?
Which you never want to have Google Maps running for a big rig, because it'll take you down roads that you can't get down. Low clearance and all that, because Google Maps, you can't set that. So you want to have a big rig GPS, but you also want to have a backup. And we have the Motor Carrier's Atlas, paper atlas. You're not relying on GPS or anything. And that tells you all the roads that are big rig friendly, so that won't take you down any bad roads either. So that's my little PSA for the day.
I would think that I have no dash lights or warning lights on my dashboard or anything. I would think that possible fuel in your fuel thing or whatever would show up as your check engine light would come on. I got no check engine light whatsoever at all.
Michael says the fault codes, SPN, suspected parameter number, FMI is failure mode indicator. So SPN 138 is auxiliary absolute pressure reading. The SPN 177 is transmission oil temperature.
What? Now, that's
and
interesting.
the FM7 is not responding properly.
Transmission oil temperature.
Yeah.
Now, that's interesting because somebody else came up with fuel, water in the fuel.
Yeah. The fuel filter. We found a nice list of FMIs on this one site. Okay, Minnie Cooper wants to know, how is the Garmin 880 better than the earlier version, the 770? It's a lot easier to work with. The 770, what's your GPS doing now?
It heard you say the word
Oh.
G.
I forgot that it's voice controlled too. The 770 was very difficult to
Replot.
you know, if you wanted to avoid a certain road or do the go around of a city or something, it was very difficult to do that. On this 881, it's got a quick button to reroute your plot, and you could just touch, you know, the road that you want to go on, and it'll reroute you, and it's quick. And it saves that, and it's a lot nicer.
It's a lot faster response. It allows you to replot your course by I don't want to be on this road and change it, things like that. It's really fast. The graphics that come up are nice and clean. It's a large display.
One of the nice things that we didn't realize this had until we started driving with it was after 2 hours, it dings and it says, you've been driving for 2 hours. Do you need a break? And it lists the upcoming exits and tells you where you can get off to take a break. So I thought that was interesting.
Normally we would have switched off drivers by now, but I got 56 miles to go at this point, so I'll probably just stay here. So now I have no idea. Like I said, no check engine light, so it's nothing that's degrading my engine. I got the error codes from the Scan Gauge D. One person found there was water in the fuel.
Yeah.
And Michael's finding something different.
I actually have a Cummins Quick Serve app on my phone,
Which is useless.
which is useless. I'm just going to get rid of it. Every time I try to use it, it's got, you know, you put in your engine number, so it comes up and it's very specific to your engine. And then you put in your fault code, and every time I've done that, it says, there's nothing found. This doesn't apply to this engine. And it's like, obviously it does. So I'm just going to get rid of that app. Red Jaguar 100 Travels. How are the members you play with in New York and Arizona? I so missed the concerts. The guys in Arizona started playing again when they opened up the restaurants and stuff. So they're playing. We never went to Arizona this year, obviously. We were in Houston, and now it's sooner rather than later, we're going to be heading back to New York. The guys in New York they don't really play a lot in the winter time normally, but with COVID and stuff, nobody's really doing anything hardly. So they haven't really played. Summertime is usually their big time. They have a couple gigs booked because of David, actually. One at Southwoods and one at another RV resort out there.
We're playing Memorial Weekend at Southwoods. We got the Memorial Weekend gig.
That'll be nice.
That'll be
100. Southwoods has built a brand new off of their game room that they had They had their office, and then they had a little game room. They built a big community room, and they have a really nice big stage and everything with, you know, David's got the lighting and the speakers and all that. So it's really nice for concerts and stuff now up there. So that's new since you've been there. Gary Kennedy, did you say where y'all are staying in Fredericksburg? I just joined you. We stay at the Vineyards, which is a misnomer because there's no vineyards at the park. There is in Fredericksburg, but not at the park. Joseph,
We've been going to that place
before they were the Vineyards. The previous owners wasn't Oasis. It was something else. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Joseph says, are you going to see the SpaceX launch in Boca Chica? No, we are not.
Man, I don't know what to do about the engine codes. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I don't. You know, it's one thing. I wouldn't even know they were there except for like I said, the scan gauge D reported it because there's nothing on my dashboard at all indicating there's any faults. So, you know, I wouldn't know anything was wrong. And at the engine, nothing's acting like anything's wrong.
Now, we're starting to get on the other side of Austin now where it's opening up. So remember, we're only good as our data is. So once we get closer to Fredericksburg, we may start dropping out. Can they even see us with the sun?
Oh, jeez. Oh, that's terrible.
Now let me refresh my page here and see.
They can't see us at all.
Look, there's another motor coach. I think that was a Phaeton.
Yeah, they can't see us at all because this is too bright.
Yeah, you kind of can. I'm looking at it on the computer here.
If you want,
So we can.
you can spin the camera around. But you can spin the camera around, I guess. Well, now we're in the.
Michael says, Texas is big. Boca Chica, they are. 369 miles. Doug B is checking in. Said, glad to see you're doing well. I just had medullary thyroid cancer removed 3 weeks ago and will be starting radiation soon. Well, good luck to you, Doug B. It's, you'll get through it like we did. Life sucks, but then you move on. Do you want me to spin that around?
No, we're okay now.
Okay. I'm not sure if they're going to get us all the way to Fredericksburg. Because I know when we are usually coming in from the other side, it drops out.
Yeah, we as we get further and further out now, we'll probably end up losing signal because we're getting out. I lost all data then. Reconnected. So yeah, right lane closed. Bumps. They really want to get your attention about the right lane.
Because this lane is closed up here. David Torrance has a question. My wife and I are trying to decide between a 40-foot and 45-foot coach. At those lengths, any real difference?
Nope.
Not really. It's just the living space. The big thing to keep in mind is floor plan. And make sure the floor plan works for you and how you want to live.
I say nope, as in, is there any really difference in regards to
Finding a place to stay.
yeah, where you can stay and stuff like that? The 5 feet isn't going to make you a difference.
Yeah.
We did a video, in case you look it up on our YouTube channel, or actually on our blog, Outside Our Bubble, or our YouTube channel.
Just search 40 foot and it'll come up.
Yeah, basically the video is a 40 plus foot motor coach too big? And we actually talk about our experiences owning a large coach.
One of the big questions is, can you get into national parks and state parks and stuff? And a lot of the older parks, no, you make the feed.
No, because when we get up, if we get up closer, Fredericksburg, we're 44 miles away.
Okay.
Then they can see Fredericksburg. We'll turn the camera around.
And we might be back now.
So yeah, we're going in and out because we're going up and down some hills in Texas Hill Country, and radio signals do not pass well through Earth.
It's a weird stretch of road.
Yeah, that's a beautiful view though.
Yeah. Do you want me to turn the camera?
No, they won't see much of it because it's gonna end soon.
And we're going back down in a valley.
And we're going. Well, there's a cell tower right there.
But is it the right cell tower? Looks like the right lane up here again is closed. So you're gonna need to move over. Rumble strips again.
Rumble strips. Come on, come on, come on. Big hill climb.
They're fixing the guardrail. Ooh, watch that truck.
Yep.
His mirror looks like it's out. They had the right lane closed and they had a cement truck over there, but it looked like he was as far over towards our lane as possible. So it looked like to me his mirror was sticking out in our lane.
This guy's gonna try to pass this guy. Not gonna make it, buddy.
And now you're sandwiched between us.
And I wasn't the one going slowest. The truck in front of me going slow. So, and now look how close he is to him.
Yeah,
Ugh.
that's dangerous. That was just your sister, Carol.
Right to US 290 North.
She saw that picture of the snowmen that said Lake Effect Band playing the drums and the horns and stuff. Yeah, all this guardrail looks brand new. You need to stay to the right.
290.
Yes, but you need to go to the right.
Yeah, I see that. I wanted to get ahead of this guy, but that's not.
I know, but I don't think you're going to make it because it's right there.
Be in the right lane.
Thank you very much. I got 2 people telling me that now. Be in the right lane.
Oh, and it looks like a sharp turn, 45 miles per hour. They actually have a sign with a blinking light.
GPS is actually warning me about sharp curve ahead. Bad exit.
Very bumpy road.
Continue on the current road.
Okay, we are 39 miles to our destination. So that means we're about 33 miles to the outskirts of Fredericksburg town. This is the hill country of Texas. And Bren, when you get the chance, let's turn the camera around.
Okay.
We're going to turn the live camera around, so see y'all later. We'll leave it around so you can see us coming through Fredericksburg and stuff like that.
Oh, we got a couple little towns to go through first.
Oh, okay.
Like Stonewall and stuff, like where Michael and Luke stayed.
Oh yeah.
Going through there.
So in any case, we'll see y'all later. And we'll.
Okay, remind me how I loosen this.
Basically, it's on.
Just turn.
It's on a screw mount, so it should just turn.
Oh, you got it.
Just say okay. So untape that. Just untape it.
Yeah.
And just turn the whole thing. So hang on. Here we go. Whee!
How does that look?
I need you to bring it back a little bit.
So it's more level.
Yeah. Yeah, they can. It's picking up the. It's picking up those cameras in the front. You're not going to be able to get out of the way though.
How's that?
That's fine. So you can see we're in the hill country, so therefore you can see that you're looking well out into the distance now. It's like you always think Texas is flat. There's a lot of mountainous regions and hill regions in Texas.
I wouldn't say mountainous.
Well, there is. Get to the other side.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That is true. You're right.
Calingua.
Yeah, that's down by Big Bend National Park.
That's right. So right now what you're seeing way out there is we're coming down a hill right now, and that's all another hill way out there, and we just kind of like it out here. We'd like to be within 10 miles of the town if we can find a place and land within 10 miles. Just make it easy for shopping and stuff like that.
Augusta wants to know, when are we going back to New York?
April.
Sometime in April. The RV park doesn't open until May, but David helps the owner get it ready. Seeing that it's it's buried in snow right now, they've got to drain all the water lines and everything for the winter, so now they have to redo all that. Gary Kennedy says, how did you like driving through Houston this morning? We will be at the vineyards on Saturday for 3 weeks.
Oh. Well, you'll get to meet Loki.
You'll get to meet Loki when we go and pick him up.
We'll be gone on Saturday, heading out.
Watch this guy, I think is turning or something.
Speed reduced. 1.2 miles to confirm US 290 West.
Yep. This is Johnson City, one of the little towns. So yes, we're going to be turning left up here. You got that?
Yep. So this is Johnson City.
This is Johnson City. Johnson City, as in President Lyndon B. Johnson. This is where he was born and grew up, as far as I understand. And they have the Lyndon B. Johnson State Park here. I don't know if it's a state park or national park. Not sure. So we are going to be turning left up here. Lyndon B. Johnson National Historic Park. There you go. It answered my question. So it's a National Historic Park, which in all the years that we've been coming here, we've never gone to.
Continue on US 290.
Okay, we are 33 miles to our destination. Again, after we get out of this town, I'm going to guess we're going to lose data at a certain point because it becomes all vast land with very large what's the word? Ranches. Hundreds and hundreds of acres.
Ooh, I smell a skunk. Somebody hit a skunk. Stonewall is 16 miles, Fredericksburg 31.
So yeah, so coming up when we get out of this town and stuff, cell phone signal may be not the best.
Yeah, we're getting through all these little towns and everything, and they're surrounded by wineries.
And ranches.
And ranches, yeah. So there's the Lyndon B. Johnson State Park there, or National Park.
You don't think vineyards or wineries when you think Texas.
Yeah, they actually are. They call the Fredericksburg area the Napa Valley of Texas, because there is a lot.
It's actually becoming quite the place. Breweries and things like that.
Steve St. Martin says, will there be another Uberfest?
You know, I mentioned that to Brenda a couple days back. I said, what do you think about an Uberfest in January? That's all gonna. Right now, our plan is to go to Arizona
next winter,
next December. So we will be out that way, but we're not too sure if we're going to be doing Uberfest or not. It all depends on the COVID thing.
Yeah, it depends on what the country looks like then.
Yeah, it depends on that and what's going on there. And quite literally, understand that we're parked at a site that we pay for in Fountain Hills area, and when we go to do the Uberfest for a week, we're still paying for that site, which is very expensive to be in Arizona. We're paying for that site for the week, even though we're not there. So it's costing us not only a fuel to go all the way to Quartzsite and back, but it's also costing us a week worth of boarding at the RV resort, lodging at the RV resort. So to put it on, I mean, just to be there, just for us to show up in Quartzsite for a week, it probably costs us $600-700. and fuel and what we lose in our thing. So it's not.
But it
we
is
don't-
fun.
It is fun.
But we're
It is
not
very
counting
fun.
it out.
We're not counting it out.
It's
But
just too soon to tell.
yeah, there's not a big incentive for us to do it because we don't make money doing any of this. We do it all for fun, and so we don't to spend money like that is. I mean, quite literally. I mean, the last Uberfest we had, and we had a lot of people come up, so it was very successful.
Yeah, John Bloxham says take donations from attendees to help with expenses.
We do.
People do donate, and that does help.
We don't require it.
No.
It helps us pay for the band. We have a live band at night and stuff, and some people donate, some people don't, and that's okay. Like I said, we don't set out, and any donations that came in that is over the amount of money we would have spent for the band or other things that we needed to put on the event. But anyways,
I think we were buffering then.
we were probably buffering. Hey, there should be a tab on my computer opened up for Speedify.
Yeah.
There should be a drop-down box. Right now it should say streaming mode. There's a drop-down box that should say streaming. On the right-hand side, left-hand side. It says streaming.
Oh, I got to scroll down more. Yeah, there it is.
Click on that drop-down and switch it to redundant.
Oh, wait. That's not what I'm looking at. It says streaming bypass. It shows Netflix and HBO.
No, you want to be above that, love.
Okay. I don't see anything that says streaming.
How do you miss that?
Oh. Redundant?
Yep. Okay, you're going to a redundant system, so it'll use all services at one time, and if we drop one service, it'll continue on the other. Did you hit it?
Yeah.
So now you should see do you still have still got Speedify up?
Yeah.
Turn it so I can see the screen. Yeah, hopefully we're running correctly. It's weird.
Well, I saw it spin and then connect, so it did something.
Okay. What does it show for the server connection? Dallas or?
Dallas number 7.
Okay. So what we just did is in Speedify, because we're bonding 4 different jetpacks together, we just told Speedify to use all 4 connections simultaneously to the VPN provider, which is currently in Dallas. And if any of the streams drop, then the other ones will be used. So if we drop Verizon, AT&T would automatically just take over and the stream will continue, and vice versa. Oh, he's empty, that's why. "25 miles.
Steve St. Martin says, we can always do an economical version, no band, just to camp out.
That's the fun in that. Come on, the best part is, I think, is the big party at the end with the big bonfires and live music under the stars. I mean, man, the last time we did that, the party, we had like 250 people in the audience. Jeez, Mr. Semi.
He keeps moving
Freaking
over.
idiot. Don't know if you guys can tell in that shot or not how close that semi got to us.
Speed's down to 55.
Well, it will be up here.
Yeah.
Beep.
All sorts of wineries.
Yep,
Lots
wineries
and lots of
there
wineries.
on your left, and on your right. Oh,
Then you get somebody
like
who's
that.
just braking that for no apparent reason.
He thought maybe he was going to pull in there, and then he decided not to.
That
on
white
a
car
70
almost
well, it's
crashed into him.
It's a 55-mile-an-hour road, but yeah, that car almost rear-ended him because of it. So here he is again braking, not sure where he is. It's okay that they're tourists, just like we are.
Yeah.
He's looking for his turnoff, that's all.
David Torrance says no buffering, solid stream. David Dory says, I thought it looked pretty close. That semi that passed us.
Oh yeah, he probably got within, if that was not a flatbed, because the flatbed was lower than us, if that was a full regular semi, he would have clipped my mirror. If I would have had a jet over not to get clipped by, that's how close he was. But our mirror was above his flatbed.
Now they're talking back and forth about Quartzsite because some people went there. They did the next exit meetup. They did bonfires every night, bingo, karaoke, geocaching. Just not stuff that costs big money.
Did you have to pay to go to that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. And yeah, at Uberfest, people do have bonfires every night and do things every night, and we do different talks and stuff. And the band is just something fun because then David gets to play because it's the guys that he plays with in Phoenix that come out, and it's always a good send off. Meet Johnson National Historic Park in 1 mile. He says it's no cost, just $40 because they're in that. Don't know.
Oh.
I've never heard of it.
I heard Next Exit as an
I know
app.
there's an app called Next Exit, yeah. I'm assuming it's a group. Something about Rubber Tramp Road or something. I know the escapees usually have a big gathering.
Yep, they do. But that's a corporation.
This is Stonewall, Texas. The RV park that Michael and Loop stayed at for that one night, I think it was, or 2 nights or something.
I'm really bummed that they didn't get to experience any of Fredericksburg.
Yeah, that's right up here, that RV park they stayed at. Free chocolate.
I think our last Quartzsite Uberfest, I think. I think we had 141 coaches signed up to come.
Something like that.
Yeah. I shouldn't say coaches. 140 odd RVs. Mostly our motorhomes, though. Attempting to reconnect right now. There it goes. Now we're reestablished. Yeah, the best thing I did last time was before we used to try to park everybody into a big giant circle, and this time we went and did a small area, small circle, and then let everybody else park around us wherever they wanted to park.
Yeah.
Parking in the past when I was doing, actually we were parking everybody, that was a nightmare. That I'll never do again. Tried so hard to make everybody feel included by putting everybody in a circle, but the circle got so big. It was a quarter mile wide.
That time of year, the rangers are out, and because it's BLM land, Bureau of Land Management, it's free parking and stuff. You can't you can't reserve sites. You can't block them off with cones and stuff.
Feel free to say hello. Please don't be offended if we don't sit and talk for a while or anything. COVID and all, and I'm still getting my last radiation treatment was just.
It's the vineyards we're passing.
Yeah, a lot of these are brand new buildings.
Yeah, it seems like every year when we come back, there's definitely new ones popping up. Eskimo Mosul's checking in. Hello from our home in Bullhead City on the Colorado River. So hello to you, Eskimo. What is that on the top of his truck? Is that a light?
Yes.
Like a big spotlight or something.
So now we're at the 12-mile range of where we're going to be. So we're within the area of where we want to start to buy land or buy a house or property. So we're in the radius now.
Yeah, now we're okay. It looks like we were buffering for a little bit. Now we've got them back. David, what cruise speed do you usually drive? Are you like 70 miles an hour? What do you usually stay at when you can?
If the road is 70, 75 in Texas, they go as high as 80. I stay at 70.
70's comfortable.
So our max speed normally is, we don't speed. If it's 65, we normally don't do 70. We might, depending on the road. But 70 is our max cruising speed, which is normally what we're at.
And the conditions too. If it's windy and stuff,
oh yeah, that's
definitely slow down more.
We've been there. That's your seed company.
Yeah, Wild Seed Farms. We've never actually been there in the springtime when all the flowers are blooming, though. I bet that's beautiful.
So we're going to be coming up here to US 87 North.
That's the one that goes through town.
That's the one that actually goes through Fredericksburg
I think
itself.
this just kind of turns into it.
I think it might, yeah.
Because this is the road.
Yeah, it does. It just turns right into it. This road goes right through Fredericksburg.
Yeah, and then 290 splits off on the other side of Fredericksburg, and we stay.
Yep. And so we are on the park that we're going to be at is on the other side of Fredericksburg.
Yeah, the park that we're going to be at is on the west side, and we're actually coming in from the east right now.
Oh, to those people that are coming in, if they're still on and listening, if you're coming into the vineyards, please be aware when you make your turn into the vineyards, it's a big drop.
Yeah.
That's not a drop, but it's
a big hill.
It comes up on you quickly if you're coming from this direction, and it's a big hill to turn left into and drop down. So don't freak out.
And be prepared, be prepared. Don't go fast. Don't turn fast.
You'll see if you're still with us. You can see the fan in the video.
That's okay.
Look at that. That's all new.
Yeah, that was being built last time. That's the brewery, love.
Yep, that's the big
That's
brewery.
the brewery that
going.
Wes was telling us about.
Green. That's a new light.
Yeah, I don't remember a light, but I don't normally come down this far. Because that's the KOA there.
Looks like they're doing all new water lines.
Yeah.
Sewer.
Drainage or something?
Yeah. This is all development. Interesting thing about Fredericksburg is within this town limits, the city limits, they do not allow for any commercial places like McDonald's or Burger King, fast food,
Walmarts.
None of those.
It all has to be outside the city limits.
Those are so coming up here is the only time you'll see those places like Dairy Queen and stuff like that. Inside the city limits, it's all historic. So they're all independently owned restaurants, all independently owned, shops and stuff like that. That's brand new.
Is that self-storage? No, I don't think so. We don't normally get down this far, love.
Yeah. So we're coming into the edge of town now.
Look at those little...
Yep, remember those? That was last time we were here, those were going in.
Yeah.
In the grove.
John Bloxham says that the fan reflection in the windshield looks like the wheel nuts of the coach turning. Yeah, the city limits the town. It's really interesting because it's all the original buildings from the 1800s when the town was first established, and
so here's
they used to turn them into restaurants and shops and stuff.
So here's where we got the city limits coming up right here.
Well, no, we still have to pass Walmart.
I know, that's what I mean. We're coming up to the outside of the city limits.
Yeah. And
where we used to stay is right up here. You won't be able to see it because it sets back.
Yeah.
When we originally started coming to Fredericksburg, right up here on the left, like I said, you won't be able to see it. I'll just mention it because is where we used to stay. And it's just a big field.
It's right next to the police station right here.
Yep.
It's right there.
So right
Hill
here, this on the
Country.
left-hand side, this little building behind there, there's an RV park. And that's right on the outside of the town, city of town here, because right up here is Walmart. And that's, of course, nationwide, so they can't be in the city limits. Not that they have anywhere to go in the city limits.
Paul Strobel wants to know, how's your Tesla been running? Any problems?
We've not had any issues with our Tesla.
Yeah, our Tesla's been great.
The charging system and everything that we did with Michael has worked out fantastically. We get a lot of looks, that's for sure, when you got a Tesla plugged into the front of a motor coach.
Yeah, you meet a lot of people.
So the Walmart is right now on our left-hand side as we go by. I doubt you can see it through the trees. And on the right-hand side, you got your typical firm mattress store, Starbucks,
Dollar Tree.
All of these cannot be within the city limits, which is right up here.
UPS store.
On the just across this right here, we'll come in. Historic downtown.
Yeah, there's a Whataburger up here. I think that's the very end.
And then from that point forward, everything you see is owned
It's like historic.
by individuals, not corporate.
Yeah, like the old hospital building from the 1800s is now a kitchen store. Just lots of neat independent restaurants and stores.
Our two restaurants that we like to go to are up here. There's a Chinese restaurant and a Mexican restaurant side by side.
Pizza shops on the other side
And then
of
the
town.
pizza shop that we like is on the other side by us.
Bob Keefe, I may have missed it. What about Fredericksburg makes you want to settle there? It's just a cute town that we just fell in love with. And we really enjoy the Texas Hill Country and all the surrounding area.
If you get the right property and the right view, it's just pretty.
Yeah.
And the town is quaint, if you will, except for the weekends.
The weekends is when a lot of people come in from the cities and stuff and shop and eat. And so if you're a local, you tend to avoid the town on the weekends. It's still not like super packed though.
No.
You know, it's not like a big touristy town that we hate.
So there's Sonic and Pizza Hut.
Yeah. Ace Hardware.
And
Yeah,
then
here's the sign, Fredericksburg.
Fredericksburg, here's the sign right there.
Willkommen, which is the German.
Yeah, welcome. So here's, the signal light is where it starts. There's the Dairy Queen. And now all of this in front of us is all, which I think is just great. You got your independent owners.
Yeah, I have yet to go to that natural grocery store. I've only been doing curbside pickup, but I never got there last time, and that's fairly new.
They were supposed to build, which they never did, they were supposed to build a byway around the town here, because this is the only path through, and all the semi trucks and everything have to go through here.
Yeah,
And it's the biggest complaint that we have,
a lot of people have.
and the stores and everything, is all the semis, because this is the only connection path. That never got finished, Liv.
Oh, yeah. Well, COVID probably set a lot of projects behind.
Yeah. So this is all historic area here, all these buildings. This is what I mean about the semis coming through town. So looking at the people walking right now, I see one person wearing a mask.
Yeah. Bob Keefe says, thanks. In all the years I followed you, I've only seen you stay In Pennsylvania, I think he means New York. Or Jellystone. I must have missed your Fredericksburg adventures. Well, yeah, usually when we come in usually from Fredericksburg from the opposite side, from the southwest side, because we're coming back from Arizona. And that cell phone reception there when we get off the highway, when we get off I-10, is non-existent. So we usually don't have all of this.
Yeah, we usually don't have service at all. So yeah, all these buildings you can see, they're all just kind of put together like old town Texas, when they would when places, little places would get built up over time. You know, they just attach buildings to buildings, and they're all kind of cool in their own way. So basically, you can just walk up and down the streets, and all these are different independently owned shops, restaurants, music places. So that's the main part of downtown, or historic town, right there.
Yeah. They've got a cute little park over here on the right. And at Christmas time, that's all lit up with a big light show and everything. And you're going to need to move over at some point. Because this is going to split off up here. Remember that split?
Yep.
All the old historical churches and stuff, too.
Yeah, to our left is our real estate agent. Hello, Wes.
In 1/2 mile, be in either of the 2 right lanes, then keep right to US 87.
Augusto, when are you guys going to the Jellystone RV Park? Couple weeks.
We're scheduled to be here 2 weeks with an option to stay
a third week.
A third week. It all depends if we
Keep
find
right to US 87.
how we're doing with our property hunting,
Yeah.
and if we have to stick around to make a deal or decide to or not.
The nice thing about that Jellystone is we have our own site there.
Yeah.
So we don't have to arrive at a certain time or
Yeah,
date.
it's not a seasonal site like we have at Southwoods, but it's a site they keep for us. Separate. Well, that's separate. It's
Yeah,
part
so
of
this is where 87 and 290 split off.
So
So we're staying on
In
87.
1.5 miles, arrive at the vineyards of Fredericksburg on the left.
Okay, so up here you'll
Put the computer down now.
see the when we come up to the vineyards in 1.5 miles, which is where we're staying, you'll see about the turn and the drop that we have to make going to the left. And then it's just rows and rows, multiple rows of motor coaches and RVs parked next to each other,
As
Less than
typical.
1/4 mile.
which is
Arrive at
typical
vineyards
out
of
here because it's a
Fredericksburg on the left.
destination place.
But it's one of the nicer parks. We enjoy it.
It's a no frills park. For the
Well,
mo- I mean,
in the summertime, I mean, they have a pool and things like that, but
Yeah.
they don't have a tennis court or anything like that. But they have a nice dog area.
we do want to check out the Lady Bird Johnson RV Park, which state park, or
I think
County park?
I'm not sure if it's a county or a state park. I don't recall, but there's a Lady Bird Johnson Park that's just on the outskirts of town, south of here. And they do have some full hookup sites that are big rig friendly because some friends of ours stay there.
So this is where I was mentioning you got to be careful because you come up over this bluff,
It's
over
just
this
over
hill,
this hill.
and then it's on your left, and it comes up very quickly. So you want to make sure you have your engine brake on to help slow you down, because this is a 65 mile an hour road.
Yeah, and it's right here.
And it's right here. So right as you cross the hill, you'll see the sign. You're gonna,
and this is where the two lanes.
And this is where the two
together,
lanes
too.
merge together. So if there's somebody behind you, they're going to want to try to get around you. And as you can see, there's a big turn drop off
On
here.
the left.
Buddy, you can get around me.
Yeah, there's plenty of room for people to get around.
So this is a 70 mile an hour road up there, right where the truck is going now. It turns into 70. So these cars are coming quite quick. So you got to be real careful with this here.
You don't want to scoot across the road to get in there quickly because of this hill that they're on.
And you'll see this is the big drop and turn kind of thing that you got to do. They're dropping down and we're turning.
And right now they have the contactless check-in, so we've got to...
Turning. Those, by the way, you can rent those. Those are places you can rent and stay in.
The stagecoaches.
The stagecoaches there, you can stay in those. I would not recommend it. The reason I say that is because last year when we were here, we were walking by, and since they're lit up on the inside, everything's a shadow puppet. And you can see people doing things.
Yes.
If you get my drift. And not to mention, since they're made out of canvas, you can hear everything. So they're doing contactless check-in. So Brenda's going to run up and grab our stuff. And I know we're already going to be going down, I believe, this lane right here.
We're going down the...
Yep.
Yeah.
Neutral. You're going to hear the air brake deploy. There we go. And Brenda's going to run up and grab her stuff.
Yes, I am. Maybe not run, though.
Don't run.
Grab my
Okay.
sunglasses, though.
So there's the park kind of there. You see the hills out there in the distance, I think, maybe, I don't know. We'll be parking down that way. If you're typing anything, I have no idea because I don't have a computer in front of me. So our average over this trip, which was 4 hours, we averaged overall 6.2 miles per gallon. Again, we're 42,000 pounds, the coach is. We're 70 feet long. We're pulling 7,000 pounds behind us total weight. 6.2 miles to the gallon. We burned just about a quarter tank of fuel. Brenda waving at you there.
Almost grabbed the wrong one. There's another one in there with the last name starting with a B with 4 letters.
Oh. Okay, so what site is it again?
Yeah, we're going down this last row and it's site 112.
So this is where we try to have, this is the fun part, trying to make sure we get everything in with our trailer.
Yeah, sometimes we need to shimmy a little.
And it looks like there's not a lot of people here right now, but they do have a rally coming in here right now. Excuse me, sorry, speed bump. Tag axle, and now the car. Boom, boom. Okay, good. Where are we? That's 99 there.
This is 100, we're 112.
Okay. Looks like they're going to be down there where that fainting is.
It's 102.
Yeah, we're down a little ways.
104. They go in order. 5. There's 7.
Getting there.
Hang on. 108, 9.